What is going on, everybody, and welcome in to episode 142 of the Pre-Patch Podcast. How is everybody doing? Hopefully your
Doing
weekend
well.
is going amazing.
We're here. Sunday.
Yeah, we are live on a Sunday, which is a little different than what we normally do because, obviously Thursday was Halloween Day. It was All Hallows Eve, celebration of the dead, or whatever you want to kind of put out there. But yeah, some of us were trick-or-treating, other people were being scary, and some people were what exactly was your costume, Scruffy? Because I'm really trying to figure it out. Well, were you Gandalf?
It was honestly just what I picked up from the Renaissance fair I went to, plus a beard. So yeah,
you were generic medieval guy.
Yeah, man. I was like, I'm gonna get the most use out of this like $130 cape that I can. So
it's crazy.
It
looked kind of cool. Anybody do anything cool for Halloween?
I didn't do shit.
Hung out with the family. That's about it. Yep.
Yeah. Same. I just hung out with the kids. That was pretty much it. Handed out, try to hand out candy, but I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's this year specifically, especially other than last year. Like last year, my neighborhood went kind of all out. Everybody was like handing out stuff. Like there was just a lot more houses. This year, I don't know again if it's the election. I don't know if it's like just everything kind of feels kind of shitty, but like nothing felt like there was just not that many trick-or-treaters. There was not that many houses participating. It was kind of weird. It was a very odd.
Ain't nobody can afford the candy to give the kids.
That is very
and I also noticed that there's a ton of like those trunk or treat events or like the established like businesses doing like events instead. So
what are you doing with your camera?
I don't know.
What are you doing? What I did see though that was funny was I saw this kid dress up as Joe Biden, and he got into character and he like was tripping upstairs and everything, and it was probably the funniest thing I saw out of this Halloween.
This is the only we don't get political on this show, right? At all. Within the realms of whatnot. And here's the only thing I'm going to say is that I'm really ready for the election to be over. I'm ready for all of this shit to be done. I am so sick and tired of
it won't be done though after the election.
I know it's not, but it's just like the whole the whole, I don't know, like there's now in video, like you're seeing fucking like maps in Fortnite and fucking skins and other video games that are like politically based. I'm like, come on, this is fucking ridiculous. It's like we're a laughing stock of the rest of the world with this shit. So I don't know. Is what it is. I guess that's the political landscape. Well, anyway, I get the guy. We jumped right into it. And I forgot to do introductions. I'm Sin. I'm obviously here with the rest of the pre-patch crew, minus Tony. Tony, unfortunately, was not able to make it, but we've got Enigma, we've got Bill, we've got Scruffy, we've got the 4-man crew kind of holding it down tonight. And we've got there's gonna be a lot of good stuff to talk about. We're gonna be talking about Wilds. We're gonna be talking about Veilguard primarily. I know Scruffy's been playing some Black Ops. We don't have footage of it, I don't think, but we may talk a little bit about that probably next week whenever
I could.
Tony,
I can get footage whenever if you need.
Yeah, Tony gets on. And then obviously all of the news. But welcome in again on this Sunday evening, and again, apologize to all of our YouTube video viewers that are out there as far as like to watch the stream on YouTube. Unfortunately, I don't know what is going on with multi-streaming. I don't know if it's just my system and OBS. I don't know what's happening, but we are not able to dual cast right now, so it's just been a pain in the ass. Or it might be my kid just getting on fucking DayZ, which if that's the case, then
could be.
Yeah, it's just
another review that we need to.
I'm gonna block the fuck out of DayZ. So, anyway, all right. Well, let's get into it because I know that the two games that we're going to talk about are going to take up a large amount of time. One of which I think is probably just going to be overall good, and then the other one is probably going to be maybe some spicier comments and a spicier segment. So,
first, I have to take my glasses off for that second one.
First and foremost, we are going to jump into Monster Hunter Wilds, which has been literally topping the fucking charts. Okay, so I guess it's just gonna play music. It's gonna top the fucking charts for Steam. It's beating out, I think, everything.
It's beating out literally everything besides CS:GO and Dota
and PUBG.
And PUBG.
Yeah, that's
popped out at 463,798 players alone
for
on
a
Steam.
demo, man. That's crazy.
That's just on
a demo.
Steam.
Yeah,
this is on both Xbox and PlayStation.
Not launch, but
both.
Come out.
Yeah.
Both Xbox and PlayStation. So
Gotcha.
and it's been on PlayStation for 3 days, I think, or 2 days. But I think it'll release either on the 29th or the 30th. I can't remember which, but they've had it for like 2 days.
They've had it for a bit, yeah.
So okay, what is it like? What I mean, I get it, you know, we've all seen, you know, they've been pumping this up, right? But there's not been like a huge amount of you know, promotion around this or whatever. I mean, what is so different? I mean, yeah, but not like to the point of like what you would see, you know, what they've pumped out for games that are like Halo or whatever else. Like they, you know, they've shown their stuff, they've done their shows, but like there has definitely been bigger market promotions. Like, you know, Ubisoft has done more for fucking Assassin's Creed than I would say like Capcom has done with this one, as far as like promoting it out there and getting articles and all this kind of stuff. Why is this one what is setting this so far apart? Like, why is everybody clamoring over this? Is it the open worldness?
No, this is
like,
yeah. So this is so I think I've probably put in the most time out of all of us. I've hunted down every one of the fucking monsters at least 10 or 15 times alone. But this one right here, like this Monster Hunter or Wilds in general, is like an amalgamation of worlds. The best thing from Worlds, which was like the open world aspect, the more centered in realism rather than like the cartoonish aspect of Rise and everything like that, right? This one, it kind of takes the good parts from Rise, the good parts from World, the good parts from what's the other one that the fucking release between, I can't remember. But the best parts between the most recent Monster Hunter games, right? And kind of puts them into one, and that's what makes it, I in my opinion, that's what makes it the most enjoyable for me. Is like you've got the Palamute, you know, they don't call them Palamute, they call them Secrets in this one, but the Palamutes, the mounts from Rise, right? You've got the Clutch Claw stuff from Monster Hunter Worlds, Iceborne DLC, which was one of the better like fan favorites of that entire franchise, right? Of Worlds. You've got the open world aspect, which is what everybody has been asking for since Worlds released, right? Like everybody, you included, me included, you know, we've all been asking that we want something that's a little bit more open world, as in comparison to like Worlds. World had an open world, but it wasn't as big as this.
It's more
World
like
had a specific area. Yeah, World had a very specific area that was I can't remember the name of it, but there was a region in Worlds that was akin to the maps that are going into Monster Hunter Wilds, and everybody fucking loved those. It was just one large world or one large map that you could just go around in and fuck around in and hunt monsters, right? And that's exactly what they gave us in Wilds. And the map is fucking huge. Like it's the demo version alone, the demo map that they gave us was impressive in my eyes. I don't know if what your thoughts are on that, Bill, but
I didn't see it as much different than a world map myself. I don't know if that's just because the secrets make it like super quick and easy to maneuver,
yeah.
But it didn't feel that much different than a world map in my eyes.
So
that's just me. Plus, I'm not the biggest fan of the map in general that they did the demo on. I'm wondering, like, if they had a reasoning for doing just a big open desert type area.
It's the intro,
biome, right?
Like that's
yeah. I'm not a big fan of deserts. I find them very boring map wise. I didn't really like the terrain. Like the dunes were too steep to fight on in a lot of cases. The environment was like clumsy to traverse and like fight within in some spots. The cave systems were cool. I like the cave systems around the desert, but the desert itself I was not super impressed with. It all looked great, but I just it felt bland, I guess.
So okay,
it's a desert.
Yeah, I would have picked something a little bit more extravagant. Like World started off with that like big lush forest area where you can go up into the treetops, and you had the oasis area like that. That was really a great starter set piece.
I think you'll have that. This is just
I'm
the
sure you
intro to
will.
the game. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally felt that it was gorgeous. There were certain aspects to it. I can understand where you're coming from, where it comes to like the desert area specifically. The biggest issue that I had with it was like terrain clipping. I don't know if you ran into anything like that. Yeah, terrain clipping was really bad, and that was one of my only like cons for the entire demo. Was just like it felt very, the combat felt decent. Like the combat I felt was a little bit more seamless and a little bit more smooth than Worlds was. But
Depending
there
on the
were certain,
weapon.
depending on the weapon, yeah. But there were certain areas, like you said, in the desert specifically, where those dunes got so steep that like I was fighting I think it's the Dua whatever, the fucking lightning the
Dua
lightning
Lipa.
dragon, like the final the fire or whatever, the big bad boss that was in the demo. I was
Ice
fighting
Spice?
him in the desert, and like he does a an attack that's like a giant like laser that he shoots down at you, and that was clipping through the desert and hitting me. Like I would go over the dune to dodge it, and it would still go through the fucking dune and hit me. I was like,
The
really?
bear's
What the fuck?
the bear's earthquake move did the same
That's
thing.
true. Yeah.
So
is this a you go for it?
Oh, I was say that. I mean, this has got some time before. I mean, it's not February, right? Like that's when
this
like, the launch is
comes out in
actually.
February next year. Yeah. So it's got a little while.
So, a question, Bill. You know, obviously, again, if we take the not liking the environment, because I can understand that too. Like there were some environments in you know Monster Hunter World that I was not a huge fan of. One of which was the like desert-esque map that they had, or it's not necessarily a desert, but like the more like
you're talking about probably the carcass.
You're probably talking about like, the fucking
it's like the wasteland
or whatever they were called.
or whatever. Yeah, that one I did not like.
The Coral Highlands.
Yeah. So like, so I understand now taking that out, you know, were you impressed with what you played of it? I mean, cause you know, I mean, I'm trying to get a grasp of like what outside of, I mean, obviously the open worldness, right? But you're saying that you felt like the world wasn't as open world as
it's as open world as what Worlds was. Like it just felt more of the same, in my opinion.
I can disagree with that completely.
Worlds.
I mean, it's just supposed to be a larger size map than Worlds. I mean, it's all one map, right? Or no?
No, it's you still have, well, at least in the demo so far, that's from what we've seen. Your different biomes are going to be one map. Yeah, so you're going to have like the desert area. For the starting area is going to be one map, but it's larger.
Kind of what Worlds was, but maybe just a little larger scale.
Again, it's larger than what Worlds had. It seems like it has more to the actual world than what Worlds had, and on top of that, it's not as, I didn't feel like it was as vertical as Worlds was.
That I think is where my confusion. Yeah, I think that's where my opinion of the world feeling like the same or like kind of comes from. I liked the verticality. I liked having the treetops above the plains and then the caves underneath of them. I like the Coral Highlands with more the same. The verticality was something that's nice, and I feel like with the Secrets, there's a lot of option to add verticality and make it easier, easier to traverse than what it was in World, because the World was kind of clumsy.
And there's very likely going to be verticality. Again, we've literally only seen one map, and it's in my opinion, it is an impressive size. I do feel like it's bigger than the other maps. Maybe not vertically, like if you look at it that way and you look at it as like the introductory forest for Worlds, if you took the verticality out of it and laid it on a flat plane, maybe it would be close to the same. I don't.
That's what I'm kind of feeling. I think if you take that into account and like flatten it out, it would kind of
I still think that the maps are a little bit bigger than in Worlds, at least. But
do we know
even with it laid out flat,
are they going to connect the biomes together? And maybe
that's
what also is like where the open world is.
We don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, we have no idea on that. I highly doubt it.
See, that's where I was like kind of thinking like they were doing open world. Is there's going to be like all connected biomes? You know.
I very highly doubt it, because I do feel like that would be like if they had traditionally, you have like 3 or 4 acts, right? 4 or 5 acts, like depending on like different biomes essentially, right? if you had that large of a map, and granted, other games have done it. I'm not saying that it couldn't be done. It would just be it would be very confusing, in my opinion, because like even this map alone, just like looking at the actual map and planning out what you want to fight, like if you want to fight the bear, or if you want to fight the frog, or the Dua one. I can never remember the name of it. The Dua Lipa. We'll just call that. Yeah. If you want to fight the Dua Lipa, right? Boss. They all move around independent of one another, and so you're constantly having to like, okay, well, this dude's over here now. This dude's over here now. You had to do that in Worlds as well, but I feel like they did it a little bit better. Like each individual area had its specific monsters that could spawn. In this one, it felt like they could wander wherever the fuck they wanted to, essentially. Like you could have,
with the exception of the sandworm, because it had to have the sand itself to do like its moves and stuff. It was stuck exclusively in the desert, from what I
want to say that I saw the sandworm outside of the desert, but I'm not 100%. It might have been like
it did go down. It does go down into one cave, but it's again, it's a sand cave. It's not like this rocky cave that you're fighting the frog in.
It's very possible that's the case. That might be the case.
Yeah.
But like all the rest of them, like I was fighting one of the sandworms in the desert, and the fucking frog came over and started fucking with it. So it's one of those things where it's like they just kind of wander wherever the fuck they want to.
That frog loves walking around catching L's.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Now, do you have like the having to go back into like town or loading area or hub area that you then go back out and explore, or is it more like,
so they do have,
you could just do whatever?
They do have a hub area, and yes, you do have to go you have to go back to your camp at least on occasion to like restock, use your tents to restock for like healing items, for ammo if you're using the bow guns, stuff like that. But you can, as you're traveling throughout the actual zones, there's areas that'll pop up that you can set up a camp in. It's just like in Monster Hunter Worlds, only in this one they're they're not places that you have to go and like physically discover, and then it's a permanent fixture.
It's super convenient. It's a great quality of life change.
Yeah. So they like one of the biggest ones was I was playing with Crow Templar, one of our buddies, a little bit, and we were out there killing the Dua Lipa, obviously the fucking terror of the sands out there.
We gotta get the real name. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna find the real fucking name of this.
We were out there killing that one, and like he died to the big laser hit. And we didn't have a camp set up, so he had to come all the way back from the previous camp. So having a camp zone right there, and there was one, it's just we didn't bother setting up a camp at it, would have been really nice, because then when we respawned, we would have been right there to get right back into the fight. I do feel like you said, like the Sekrats, I feel like they did a really good job with the Sekrats, and I feel like they alone do definitely make the map feel smaller than it actually is.
Like which is not a bad thing.
Those are the mounts,
in my opinion.
Those are the Palamut mounts that came from Rise. Yeah, but they're different.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Guy right there, he's an actor, right? That like dude with the face paint. I swear he's an actor.
I have no clue. The guy with the horns here?
Clue, yeah.
The horns there?
He looks a lot like me. That's, hey, I didn't want to tell you guys I was moonlighting as an actor and playable character. And
it's possible. But I have no clue. One of the best, I think, additions that they added is the second weapon. Being able to bring in a second weapon on the Sekrat on the mounts and being able to switch between them. I don't know how I can explain how versatile you can be with two fucking weapons in this game, right?
Yeah,
it's a fucking insane. Like coming from Worlds where like if you went up against like a fucking Rathalos, right, and you're using just the fucking hammer, right, and he just starts flying away, you're fucked essentially. If you don't have any like flash pods or anything like that, you're fucked. He's just up in the air. There's nothing you can do about it until he fucking lands. With this game, once they get in the air, you can, if you have like a ranged weapon, like I ran for the longest time, I ran hunting horn and light bowgun for the longest time, and like hunting horn, I was able to give myself buffs. Once the animal or once the monster popped up in the air, I'd pop up on my Sekrat, I'd swap to my light bowgun, and I just start pelting him from range. So it just it makes the gameplay a lot more versatile. It makes the gameplay a lot more enjoyable in my opinion when it came down to like solo fighting, because essentially you have two people in the fight, like two weapons that you can switch between essentially. So
For
The
sure.
transition seems pretty flawless too. The Psych-Rat, I dig it.
they
The way you
do
kinda-
they did an amazing job with the
Yeah.
Psych-Rats. Like I don't feel like the Palanuts in Rise were this smooth. Like
Yeah.
they put
Yeah.
a lot of fucking work into the mounts. So
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly impressed with it.
Now, did they add any other weapons, at least in this beta that we know of, that we were able to mess
No,
with?
as far as I know, there is no plans for a new weapon. That might change.
All the
like
same. Then they didn't like leave any weapons
it's all
out.
it's all the same
catalog.
from World. So you've got
Yeah.
the light bow gun, the heavy bow gun, the bow. I'm not going to list them all off, but you've got the base
Yeah.
staples. You've got the lance, the gun lance, the blades, the longsword, the shorts, or the longsword and the great sword.
Did they add
everything
a
like that.
new
So
weapon in Worlds to whenever?
To Rise?
No,
they did.
In
They
Worlds,
did add a new weapon in Worlds. Yes,
That
I think
seems-
the insect glaive was the new weapon in Worlds. If I'm not
That seems like
mistaken.
kind
I
of
could be wrong on
a
that.
missed opportunity here.
Mm.
Yeah,
in
so
my
they
opinion.
they talked about it. There was an editorial person that asked them, "Hey, do you have any plans for another weapon?" And they said that they would be okay with having another weapon, but the problem is that they already have to balance the current amount of weapons that they have, and they would love to have new weapons, and it's something that they do want to do. So I have faith that they will eventually add in
Yeah,
a new
maybe. I feel
weapon.
like what they're missing
Um,
is something like dual wield wise.
They have a dual wield.
I mean,
they-
more like they have a lot of one-handed and two-handed
demon-
weapons.
No, the demon blades are two
Yeah,
blades.
he's saying adding.
No,
more,
I'm saying
adding
more
multiple
dual
different
wield
types.
weapons,
Yeah, yeah.
multiple
Yeah, it's-
types, like
I-
maybe a
I
dual
mean, you could-
wield crossbow or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It would be nice. I'm not going to argue with you. Like having another weapon would be great. I would
Yeah,
love
that
it.
excuse sounds kind of lazy for
Yeah.
a PvE game. It's not like balancing is going to be.
But it's not balanced necessarily. It's the fact that they have a fucking giant tree for each of these weapons. You got to remember that each of these weapons has what I don't even know. It's an astonishing amount of customization with each of these weapons, right?
This is a
so like
whole
not
brand
not
new
only
title.
not only
Just
do
to
you
add,
have
like,
all of
one
the
new
current
weapon
weapons
would be nice.
that you have to add in the bone side, the monster part sides, the high rank side of the customizations. That's a lot of fucking work. I do agree with you. It would be cool, but I do understand where they're coming from. So
yeah. I mean, again, I just think it's a missed opportunity in the sense that it's a brand new title. It's a brand new thing. We haven't gotten anything really new on this scale. Like, I think probably all Monster Hunter fans, and even non-Monster Hunter fans, would say like Monster Hunter Rise really wasn't a Monster Hunter game in the sense, like, I mean, it was a Switch game that then got sent over to the PC, but that was really about it.
it was an in-between title. It was
Right.
definitely like a in-between title that didn't really
now
stick necessarily. But
this is a question that I know we've talked about. Are you wielding a fucking saxophone?
Yeah, the
that's
hunting horn's
that's
a
the hunting
saxophone
horn.
in this game, and it's amazing.
Because
That's
I
hilarious.
played hunting horn in Worlds, so then seeing a saxophone, I'm like, huh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense.
Worlds, the original weapon in Worlds was a like a giant horn. Like
Yeah, I know, but it wasn't like
Wasn't a
shaped
brass
like a fucking saxophone.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, the question that I was gonna ask is like there was a Monster Hunter MMO. We have talked about them. We have brought up the Monster Hunter MMO before, and I feel like if they do actually connect all these biomes together, that slowly but surely, I feel like they are trying to test the waters of getting to a MMO style Monster Hunter. I mean, do you guys think I'm wrong? I mean, do you think that maybe they absolutely don't want to do that?
I think
I don't see them going that route.
Yeah,
myself.
I think that it would it's one of those things where it took them this long to get to the state that they're at for World, right? Where it was more of instead of you being just like a solo hunter with the occasional friend, they leaned more heavily into, this is a group game. It is meant to be played with a group, right? I think it took them so long to do that. I don't I don't necessarily see them doing another MMO, considering I don't think the MMO really did that well to begin with. Granted, the MMO never came to the United States. It never came to the West. It was an Eastern MMO alone, if I remember correctly. But even then, it just didn't really do very well. So would I like that? It would be great. I would love to see a Monster Hunter MMO like this in this style specifically. Right?
It's a gamble to release MMOs now, right? Too.
Yeah, but
I think that's a worrisome for
would it be
developers.
successful?
Yeah.
I just
probably. I mean, with 400 and somewhat, what 463,793 max, probably. Yeah,
like,
it would probably
be.
I mean, if you
yeah.
think about like what this is, right? Like, so I need to ask a question because in chat they're saying, Monster Hunter Wilds has 100 play is 100 player lobbies. Is this a joke or is there actually a 100 player lobby?
Nope.
So
it's
okay.
So wait. It's 100 players in a lobby. That's not 100 players
on the map,
your specific
right.
instance.
It's just that you can call
it's 100
upon...
players in a lobby. When you log into the game, and that's one of my biggest gripes about this game currently is it's an always on essentially. So you log in, you get into a lobby, you're in a lobby with 100 other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're constant, like I was constantly, I don't know if you see it or not, but like sometimes you'll see like messages pop up on the side of the screen, right, and everything like that, like emotes,
like an MMO
like
would.
You're constantly seeing that pop up, and I'm like,
the entire lobby.
Yeah, I'm like, why the fuck am I seeing this? Like, I don't. Yeah, that's from the lobby. There is 100 people in the lobby.
Does it require online access? Can you play it offline?
I didn't personally see any way to play alone, so I don't know. It's very possible that it could be whenever they release it. I personally did not see any option to turn off the lobbies to make it so that it was just your lobby.
These are all the things that like are
Monster Hunter
in the
Wilds requires online play.
Like this,
okay, so you can't play it offline.
It's all giving me that like, hey, we're building into getting the evolution of an MMO up, right? 100 player lobbies, right? That's not small lobbies, though they're not running across the map with you. They're lobbies that you're playing with, right? You're saying you're well, you know, this is
100 player lobbies, larger maps, more emphasis on multiplayer. It's definitely, it seems like they're leaning at that direction, but I don't know if leaning fully into an MMO
they're not
option.
The final version of the game will have offline play to it. It's just the beta test that was online.
That was one thing that I was going to point out is like so some of my gripes about it were unstable online experience. Like
I disconnected every single fight
that I had so many fucking issues with co-op when it came down to like the only co-op that I played seamlessly,
like server issues, like disconnects and lag.
Server issues. I played the other night with Shadowlord, one of my buddies, and we got into a mission and literally I hit the fucking monster for the first time and he got disconnected.
I guess you have any crashes up to how popular
I personally didn't have any crashes. He did. He had a ton of crashes.
I had a huge crash. It hard blocked my computer.
Yeah. So it is extremely unstable. Granted, I'm going to give it to him. Again, it's a demo.
Yeah. 500,000 nearly players.
500,000 player demo.
Is it crossplay?
But it is crossplay. Yes. It is crossplay.
So there's that too. So yeah.
So it is a demo. It is extremely unstable. There were a lot of people playing on it. It's a 100-person lobby. I'm going to give it to him that hopefully once it releases, they will have ironed some of this out. The other headaches that I had were like co-op joining. Like joining any kind of co-op was a fucking headache, right?
See, I had no issues actually joining. I just had issues staying in.
No, I went into it thinking that it was going to be easier than Monster Hunter World to join a co-op, like join somebody, right? I found that it was even worse than World, right? Like
I did not have that issue.
Trying to add people and get into their fucking lobby. Like I said, I was playing with my buddy Shao the other night, and like I would get into his lobby and something would happen and he would be exited out of that lobby and be put into a new lobby. So I'd have to somehow join his new lobby. And then by the time that I joined his new lobby, I'd send him a couple of fucking invites and he wouldn't get them, or he wouldn't be able to accept them, or, you know, it was just such a fucking, it was like nailing your head against a wall just to try and get in a game with somebody.
Now you're on PC. Bill, are you on PlayStation?
No, I played it on PC as well.
Okay.
My confusion with all of this is it's a 100-player lobby, but you can only have 16 players instance at a time, and you can only have 4 hunters on a mission at a time. So why the fuck do we need 100 players loaded into a lobby to create the instability?
Sure. You literally are pointing out the thing that I was about to say, which is this again, that is another step in my direction of saying, look, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm going to say, PP predicts for Sin and, is saying that I'm going to go 10 years, right? Because it takes 10 years roughly to make an MMO. I don't think it'll take 10 years. I think it'll be shorter than that, but
don't say 10 years. Every game that comes out in 10 years is a bad game.
Okay. Look, so
give it 11. Give it 11.
I'm sure 11 years.
Give it 6. Give it 7.
I'm just saying 10. that Monster Hunter Capcom will eventually, go sooner than what we think into an MMO world. I mean, again, like you hit the nail on the head. Why do 100-player lobbies? Why, like all these things that you're talking about, instability, server issues? Why do it if you're not trying to figure out a way to have multi-connected players running around? Like the first step is the lobby, and this. I'm assuming can you see these players in like
only in the home base
in the hub? Yeah, okay, only in the hub.
Okay, so there we go. So again, hub based. Or whatever else, and maybe it's not going to go.
But it's going to be more like Destiny style MMO if it does do an MMO.
The thing is that they've always had that hub. This is not new. It's just the 100 players that is new. Previously, I think you could have. Yeah, previously I think you could have like upwards of like 16 to 20 in a lobby at any given time.
But even still, I'm like, but why that? That is a massive jump. Right, just for what? For the overall feeling of connectivity, you know what I mean? Like, and I get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, people want that, but it's if you're knocking on that door, it's like, well, the door that you're knocking on is, and I don't give a fuck. All you Destiny players want to sit here and say it's not an MMO. Fuck you. It's an MMO. Like that's what they're trying to be.
Is there any
MMO,
benefit to having all those players in like maybe a hub? Is there any like trading?
No,
no trading. The only thing that is really good about that is like if you're in a lobby with 100 people, there's more of a chance that somebody might come and join you if you have issues on a particularly hard fight. Right, instead of having to set off an SOS,
so just a possible more community
so that somebody
aspect.
so that somebody can join in from the internet. You've got 100 players that they can just be like, oh, this dude's fighting Dua Lipa, whatever the fuck the thing's
okay. First off, it's Chatakabre, Doshigumu.
No, Doshigumu. Doshigumu is the other one.
It's Ray Dow. By the way,
Dow, that was why the fuck was I thinking Dua Lipa?
I don't know.
Ray Dow is the big lightning one. But yeah, if you're fighting that and you have a quest up, having 100 people in the same lobby, there's more of a chance that instead of having to set off an SOS, you can just have somebody come and help you from the lobby essentially. So there also is, like, in Monster Hunter World, there is a very large not a large, but it's a niche group of content creators and just players alone that will open up their lobbies and actually interact with each other in those lobbies. They'll be in like the social space talking to each other. They'll be joining each other off of when they have those big events in Monster Hunter World. It's huge being able to have a lobby full of people that want to go and do the
like you would
events.
do, like they do in Destiny, or like you would do in any other MMO or something like that. Like you would see. All of this just screams fucking MMO.
You're wishing for a fish, and you're only gonna get shit, bro.
I'm not. I'm not saying that I don't know how. I'm saying that it is the natural evolution of where this is. Like
it's not. I don't disagree. I don't disagree, considering the fact that they've already had an MMO.
You said
they've already had an MMO. It wouldn't be far-fetched for them to make another one. Do I believe that it'll happen? No, I don't.
I just don't know how they would balance it. Like they're having trouble justifying adding a new weapon, but how they would like balance encounters and stuff to the increased like player size and stuff. Unless
the MMO didn't have an increased player size. It was just there were people there. You could instance into a boss fight, and that was how they did it. There wasn't anything.
Was it like dungeon based?
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't remember if it was dungeon based or
So it's not an MMO.
I mean, I guess in an instance or in a certain way of thinking, I do believe it was dungeon or instance based, but
I think
it's
I
been a
think
long
I've
time.
I
watched
mean,
some
it's
of
like
it
it's
and
like
stuff.
it's kind of like saying like, oh, you know, and this is not to you know say that you're wrong, Enigma, or anything like that, but the argument of like, or saying like, oh well, they've had an MMO, it wasn't successful, yes, but that's also like going like, oh, NCSoft has had an MMOs and they're not successful, so they're not launching another one or anything like that. I think that I just don't know what they are
See the
like,
terrain clipping.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shit.
It's
I
really
don't know
noticeable
what
in
they're
that
pushing.
instance. That's kind of
This
tough.
area in particular is
It's
absolute
literally
ass.
this is the worst part. Is like just on that one dune right there. It's literally just that
Yeah.
one dune.
Other than the
Rough.
connectivity issues, did you have any other like cons that you had with the game? Because for me personally, connectivity was the biggest one, and I feel like the weapon balancing is way off in this version of the game. I understand it's a beta and that a lot's going to change up into release, but I felt like weapon balancing was all over the place.
How so? Like in what way?
Like I
Like
felt
you
like
felt it
some
was too
weapons
powerful,
were
or
no, I don't think anything was too powerful. I feel like there's quite a few significantly weaker options compared to the rest of the weapon set. I'm not a big fan of
yeah.
how they changed the insect glaive up. I feel like they made the insect glaive worse for wear in a lot of ways.
They didn't
Same
really
thing.
change the insect glaive up. What do you mean by that?
Like change the insect glaive from how it controlled in World. They took away a lot of the aerial mobility with it. The Kinsect itself is significantly slower than what it
So
was in.
no, it's not. You are playing with the base level Kinsect blade, and I'm willing to bet that when you played with the Kinsect blade in World, it was probably an upgraded like one of the catch up mechanic glaives. Maybe I don't know. I might be putting words in your mouth, but if you play
I don't believe I was,
original,
but
if you play the original Kinsect glaive, like if you played when it first released, Kinsect glaive, the Kinsect was slow as shit. That it's meant to be that way. You when you upgrade, your Kinsect gets quicker at coming back to you and going towards your targets.
well, if that's the case, then it's an issue with the monsters being overly like too movie, because it felt like it was literally impossible to hit some of these weak spots with how much the monsters are moving around and how slow the Kinsect goes out.
So I am a Kinsect main. It was at least when I was in World. I disagree with you that completely. World I think was even worse in a lot of instances when it came down to like pinpointing certain areas. This one with the Kinsect glaive in this, at least it shows you what you're gonna get when you're pointing at the fucking monster. Previously
Yeah,
in Worlds,
that's a great quality of life with it.
In Worlds, it was just a guess. You were like, well, eventually you would learn, hey, okay, I get this certain color from the ass, I get a certain color from the face, and I get this certain color from like the limbs, right? This one,
Right.
at least it shows you, hey, if you target the face, you're gonna get this. If you target the limb, you're gonna get orange. If you target this, you're gonna get red, right?
Please tell me that when you target the ash, you get brown.
I think you get green, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, that works.
Dude, there we go.
Yeah.
That works.
The aerial maneuverability
can't-
of it is definitely a loss. I understand it's not a min-max way to play.
Yeah,
with
I disagree with you on that because like the aerial bombardment and like the aerial combats, it felt just like it did in Monster Hunter World to me.
Well,
at
you
least.
can't
I don't know.
like you can't stay in the air forever like you could in World, like until your stamina bar was out.
You couldn't. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You couldn't stay in the air forever in Monster Hunter World either.
But this is like significantly less time. Like there's no way to prolong past the initial you do the helicopter thing and then you fall. Like there's no way to prolong that any more. Like you can't air combo.
I didn't play the Kinsect blade a lot in this one. I didn't really see a difference in it. It could have been. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
I've seen a bunch of people talking about it online too. That was like the insect glaive is like the one weapon I'm seeing people like really being like back and forth on whether it's better or worse, because a lot of people are saying it's better because the ground move set has improved a lot with it. A lot of people are saying it's worse because they got rid of the aerial like comboing and the ground move set feels slower. And I've seen several people, not just what we're seeing in chat, say that the Kinsect itself feels more sluggish and is harder to grab from. That again, that
yeah.
could just be base insect glaive, but it's just an observation that I've been seeing from community people.
That was my biggest, I think, one of my biggest gripes about the entire demo. Okay, the weapons that they gave us were fine. They were serviceable, right? The thing that pissed me off was the fact that they gave us a demo, an unlimited demo. You can play the game, you can play the demo forever the fuck long you want, right? I've put, I think, like 7 or 8 hours into it as of this moment. I've seen people that have put, 60, 70 hours into it, right? It's ridiculous. There's no customization. They locked down all of the crafting. They locked down all of the purchasing. They locked down the ability to purchase from the stocks, or from the stocking, I can't remember what the dude's called, but the shop. Essentially, they locked down the ability to craft or upgrade your weapons and armor. You literally have to only use the weapons and the armor that they gave you. And I think that they did themselves a disservice on that, because it's like, I don't want to go in there and just use one weapon. I would like to go in there and at least see some form of customization. That's what the entire fucking game is about. What?
Yeah. For sure.
Why send me out there to kill a fucking monster and gather items from it, gather body parts from it, if I can't use the fucking body parts?
I think that they're just trying to get a stable playing field, like a stable sandbox. But more options would have been a lot nicer.
I'll have to try the Kinside Glaive again just to see if you guys are correct. I'm not saying that you're not. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm not saying you're wrong. I remember the original Kinside Glaive when it first released, was everybody complained about it because they said the exact same thing. It felt very, very jolted. It felt very stiff to use. And once you actually figured out how to use it, once you mastered it a little bit, it became easier. Now if they've removed the ability to chain the aerial combat together, that's weird, considering that's the entire Kinsect's moveset, essentially.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if they're trying to lock that behind future insect
that's what I was about to say.
which is a weird way to go about it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if that's something that they've done, like if that's something that'll be added, like it'll give you like certain other upgrade paths will give you more aerial combat versus like ground combat, because that is one thing that I did notice in Worlds, was like there was no real reason not to go down the aerial combat path. It was just safer and better in every aspect. So I'm curious if that's why they did that. Yeah, I'm curious if that's why they did that, and then they just never gave you the, but like if that's the case, they should have given you an aerial combat Kinsect Glaive and a ground combat Kinsect Glaive. They gave you 2 Kinsects. They gave you a poison and a cure Kinsect. Yeah. If that's the case, they should have given you 2 Kinsect Glaives, one for aerial combat, one for melee combat. So
right. What do you think about the weak spot system? I like it a lot too.
I am so happy that they finally gave you
better
a visual cue.
Yeah, it's way better than the claw shot thing.
Yeah. I'm so happy that they finally gave you a visual cue as to like where the actual
like the wound is.
Yeah, the wound is, because that was one thing in Worlds that it was just like you're just kind of guessing based off of like very minute visual differences. The little red like thingies on them. That's weak.
New.
That's
I was gonna say I don't remember that at all. Yeah,
and if you're using a melee weapon, like he's obviously like aiming for them with the bowgun, but if you're using a melee weapon, you can do like an aimed thrust move, and if you hit the wounds, it'll do like a knockdown maneuver to them and do like big damage.
That's nice.
And on top of that, you mentioned the Kinsect, or not the Kinsect, the grappling hook, I think earlier. You're still able to do that, where like hit weak points with the grappling hook, which is huge. That's really cool. And I think you can still mount off of the grappling hook too. But on top of that, they've added in more usefulness to the actual grappling hook, whereas like in Worlds and in Rise, I can't remember in Rise if you could do it, but like in Worlds, you would actually have to like walk around and gather things. In this one, you can just walk around and grappling hook things. So like you walk by
and there's not a fucking animation for every goddamn rock.
Yeah. It's fucking like they
amazing. Finally got with the modern age on
the quality
like,
of
resource
life
grabbing
improvements. Yeah, the quality of life improvements on resource gathering in alone.
That's good. They needed
huge.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So final questions as we kind of wrap up our time with Wilds. You know, and go on to our next game. Do you feel like, because I'm gonna take Rise out of the equation, right? I know, like, just going from Worlds to this, like, does this feel like the next big iteration, the next big game? Do you feel like, okay, this was worth the wait? You know, at least obviously I know we're only in a beta, we're only getting a very small snippet, but from what you've played so far, do you feel like it was worth the wait?
I feel like the changes that they've implemented and the additions that they've added from Rise and from the the fucking Iceborne DLC that they've just baked into the game automatically was something that they should have done for Worlds to begin with. I said it when we reviewed Rise, right? That, like, I wish that they had just pulled all the stuff that they added into Rise, pulled it into World as a patch, and not fucking done Rise. There was no reason for Rise. I'm sorry for the Rise fans out there. It's a trash game. I'm sorry. I hate it.
It was
it's,
just a Switch cash. It was just Switch cash grab. Like, they needed something on the Switch.
There was no reason for it.
I'm
I'm sorry. If they would have just added that into Worlds, they could have extended the life of Worlds up until the point that they released Wilds. That's probably going to piss some people off. I'm sorry.
Well, they just, again, like I said, they had nothing on the Switch. Worlds was not on the Switch. They needed it on the Switch.
So the quality of life additions, the changes to weak points where it actually shows the weak points now, the addition of the grappling hook, being able to gather things, the change of the actual world whenever there's like the storms, right? The storm, a storm rolls in, it completely changes the map in a very, very fun way.
Zones get like flooded out or anything like that?
So in this one, when the storm comes in, you'll have lightning strikes coming down left and right, and if you're fighting the Dua Lipa, I'm just gonna start calling it Dua Lipa because it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
But if you start fighting that one, that monster will actually go towards certain areas that are higher density. There's like these little pillars that get struck by lightning, and you can get a buff off of those. So there's very noticeable changes in the world whenever that happens. But yeah, I think it's a good iteration. I think it was worth the wait. But at the same time, it's one of those situations where it's like I still believe that they should have just added some of this stuff into Worlds.
Yeah.
This is essentially Worlds, just with more quality of life stuff and a more open world. Right.
Well, if they had a Monster Hunter MMO, they could just do expansion packs. And
there you go.
Billy, I don't even have to talk. Bill's just giving me all my points.
That's my opinion. I'll shoot it over to Bill. But yeah, I believe it's a good addition. I think it's well worth the wait, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll second that. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I initially enjoyed World. World was my first Monster Hunter though, so it did take me a while to get into it. I'm a little bit more experienced into the Monster Hunter stuff now. I'm still nowhere near what Enigma or the friends that I play with are with it. But
I'm the Monster Hunter guy on the podcast, guys. I'm sorry.
It's good. It's really good. I'm enjoying it. The quality of life changes are very welcome. There's a lot of the frustration factor from World that has been removed in this, but as you were saying, it feels like more of the same from World, which, I mean, that's all Monster Hunter fans really want.
It is. Yeah. That's what they've been calling for since World released, was just more World. Essentially, they just wanted more.
Do you have a new main weapon right now that you're really leaning towards, or
nope? I definitely want to look at Kinsect again. I didn't do it because I wanted to look into. I'd heard a lot of people saying that the
hunting horn
and the bow guns and the bow was actually really good. Like, they did a really good job of bringing them over, and I do feel like they did. Like, the Monster Hunter World felt very, very weird. It felt like when you were playing with the bow gun and the bow, you had to completely remap your controls to play them. At least I did. I had to completely remap my controls to play it comfortably. This one, I picked it up, didn't have to remap anything, felt good, felt amazing right out of the bat. So
nice. Awesome. Cool.
I'm a sword and
there's-
shield guy. It's I don't know why, but it's simple but effective. I'm
Sword
loving it.
and Shield's great, man. So Sword and Shield's just to answer, did the bow learn from Wild Hearts bow? Is it fun? It's the same as Worlds. They didn't really change a whole lot in the bow. Bow does the exact same thing. It just feels a little bit more fluid when with the controls. So I don't think they really necessarily learned anything from Wild Hearts. I wish they had the Wild Hearts bow was amazing. You can use everything while on the Secret. Yeah, that's another huge
that might make
addition.
it more interesting. Honestly, I think that'd be kind of fun.
That's another huge addition. Is like you're not as competent or as you're not doing as much when you're on the Secret mount, but you can combat. You can do combat from the Secret mount, and if you have a ranged weapon, you can just sit back and just boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, that might make it more fun. I don't know.
Awesome.
Maybe.
Cool. Well, there you go. That is Monster Hunter Wilds. Obviously, we will be talking about this more in February when the game actually drops. Yeah. So
Nice.
we are going to move on to our next game. And this one, I'm gonna go ahead, put it out there.
I gotta lean forward for this one.
Go ahead and put it out there. We are not gonna be talking about, gonna be talking about Dragon Age Veilguard. The showcase that we are showing video wise is going to be a little bit later on into the game. It's mainly a combat section. Bill, just if you don't mind, kind of be on the lookout. Like if we get into a spoiler part, let me know. I'll hit the button, bring it down.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that nobody gets any, like, we're not going to be releasing any kind of like major spoiler points or plot points that have not already been announced or talked about or shown in trailers. But this is literally a brand new game. And we do want to be mindful of anybody that has, wants to keep it, to themselves to be able to, not spoiler or anything. But strap in because it's gonna be a convo. It's gonna be a conversation.
Leaning forward.
All right. So again, Dragon Age Veilguard. I'm going to turn it over to Bill as you have played this and probably put in I don't think Enigma, have you played the game? No, right? Okay.
Full disclosure, I have all of my opinions are based off of watching other people play it, based off of.
But you've watched a good amount, right?
I've watched the full, pretty much the full game. I don't think I've seen the final boss battle, but I've watched about, I want to say like 8, maybe 10 hours worth of gameplay
right here.
So
okay, and then Scruffy, you have not played the game yet, correct?
I'm blind.
Okay.
Yeah, not played nor really watched other than like.
Have
what
you
I've
played
seen on
any
social media.
of the Dragon Age games?
No, I have not. So.
Okay. Bill,
Yep.
you have played all the Dragon Age games, correct?
I've played all but the very first one. I played 2, Origins and Inquisition.
Okay. And
I have also played all of them as well.
And then I have this is actually my first entry into Dragon Age. I do want to reference something though. I do not know why people just feel that they have the cojones to go into a chat or a channel and just comment on something that they do not have any kind of record of. I have played throughout the 4 of us on this show have got a multitude of experience playing BioWare games. You know who you are. I'm just letting you know, like, be mindful before you comment on something, but we have got an experience amount of knowledge when it comes to BioWare and turn-based games and all of that kind of stuff. So, all right, Bill, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk, to kind of speak first, because I have put a little bit of time, but nowhere near as much as what you have for this.
Right. Right. So I've played about 8, 9 hours or so of Veilguard. I've watched my wife play about 20 hours of it. So given both of those, Dragon Age the Veilguard is an action RPG. It's on a gameplay front. I'm very much enjoying it. I'm playing as a mage. She's playing as rogue. And compared to prior Dragon Age games and compared to Inquisition, specifically, because we both replayed Inquisition recently before this one came out, the combat feels like a good jump forward. It feels like a good modernization of the Dragon Age style combat systems, with a few exceptions. Strictly speaking of the combat systems itself, they've limited the party size from 4 players or 4 characters, including your character, down to 3. I'm not the hugest fan of that. I like it feels weird. It feels like it's limiting on the dialogue options and the interactions that you can have. I know why.
Change it?
I know one reason why I kind of am liking the 3-party system is because that's one less person to fucking talk. So that's kind of nice, and we'll get into the dialogue and stuff later. But as far as like combat options go, I would have liked to have kept to the 4 the 4 character system. You also can't directly control the companions. You're only controlling your main character Rook. You can kind of command them to do their abilities and aim like at specific enemies to use their abilities. And they've added a new system where you can kind of, if one person has one type of ability, it'll actually combo with another person's type of ability and give you a new effect. It's called a primer and detonation system. That's kind of a neat addition, and it adds another level of complexity to team comps, to abilities that you equip your companions and yourself with. So that is kind of a fresh and fluid way of going about it.
Just want to clarify, I'm not watching Hogwarts Legacy right now. This looks like you're fighting Dementors as a wizard right now. This is just Hogwarts Legacy, no? Just kidding.
Nah, I'm actually. Whenever I first started,
kind of looks like Hogwarts Legacy, like just the general aesthetic of it all, and the wizard being too.
No, for sure. I was actually saying at the start of the stream that I was fully expecting Sorcerer to feel like Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
And
not a bad thing. I like how that game felt.
It's not a bad thing,
fun.
But it once you get past the first like hour or so, it stops feeling like Hogwarts Legacy. I feel like Hogwarts Legacy was a lot more simplified of a combat system.
I very heavily disagree with you on that. I've watched towards the end game where people have had like full builds, full skills, and they're still sitting there doing the exact same fucking combat of just spamming.
Now, is that just like button. Dependent on like is that a preference? Like you could play that kind of style?
I don't know. I've seen 2 different people's playthroughs. I've seen 2 different people's playthroughs. The first one did a rogue, which
Rogue's badass. Rogue's badass.
Rogue is like the fucking love child of this entire studio. I feel like they put a fuckload of work into Rogue for some reason.
Yeah,
and then they just kind of ignored the other 2 for some reason.
I will agree with you on Warrior. I feel like Warrior was an afterthought. I'd hard disagree on Sorcerer as of right now where I'm at in the game. I don't know if it's going to get stale by end game.
Are you primarily playing staff mage?
I'm bouncing back and forth between staff and knife and orb, which I feel like is how you're kind of expected to play the Sorcerer, which having 2 sets of basic attack move sets, one playing very different from the other, adds variation in and of itself. Add on the fact that your staff can have one element, your orb can have another element. Add on to the fact that the knife has a parry system to it, so you can do melee and parry with it. Add on to the fact that you can mix and match different spells onto different main spells.
I watched
there's a lot of variation.
I watched somebody do staff knife, and I felt like he was just doing the same exact thing. It was just parry, and then fucking do the wide whatever it is, the fucking arc hit essentially constantly, and then he would occasionally do the beam.
I think.
Oh yeah, there's the beam game as well.
Even in late game, that was his entire bread and butter combo. Was just parry.
I think that
sounds like it was a user error, right? Because more so
very possible.
Here's what I would say is that like for someone again who. This is my first entry to Dragon Age, and I want you guys, I want Bill obviously to go through your entire thing before I kind of give my interpretation of the game. But
you're playing Sork as well, right?
I'm playing Sork, and I am like, I'm like, I just found even from the very beginning, I'm literally past the very like intro to when you go see Dragon Age Veilguard. Like that's where I made it to, and even just in that. I'm sitting there going, oh my God, like, dude, I can fucking do this and that and this and combo and switch and go here and there. So, I mean, I didn't feel like it was just spamming the shit out of a button left and right. But so I think that might have been that person's play style. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah.
I've literally seen.
I'm 9 hours into it right now, so
reviews across the internet complaining about the exact same thing as well. As just the combat feels very stale, very samey, even into the late game. And from everything that I've seen of the 2 or 3 gameplay bits that I've actually watched, it doesn't really look like they put a lot of work into it. It's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying the combat is terrible. It's serviceable. As an action RPG,
maybe from a watching perspective, it might be boring to watch, but I have not had that experience I've not had that experience in playing it. I don't know if the people that you're watching are just like predisposed to not having fun with it, or what's going on. But
it's not just
because I've also seen plenty of reviews saying that the combat is the highlight of the game, and the combat is what makes the game worth playing compared to the other aspects of the game, which we'll get into, that do need criticized because they're shit. The combat, in my opinion, is what is carrying me through the game. As of right now, am full send on the build versatility that I'm finding with companions, also my own character, and that kind of stuff.
Also, speaking of combat as well, like the enemy variety is terrible.
I'm noticing that. And I was kind of hoping it would improve moving forward.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. They have like 3 factions, and each of those factions has like 3 different variations, and that's it.
Then I mean that could kind of.
To be fair, though, none of the Dragon Ages had a huge variation on combat, or as far as enemy variety goes. Like Inquisition had demons, it had humans, it had mages. That was really it.
Yeah, but the other ones
feels kind of samey. To be honest,
the other games had story and actual fucking decent dialogue to lean back on.
Well, right,
it wasn't just all about the combat.
Okay, all right. So maybe I can't wait. I do need to. Because I really think that this game, right, is contrary to what EA may be saying and some of the people that are out there talking. I don't think I know, right? I'm gonna get. Hey, I don't think that this game was built for the old Dragon Age fans. I don't think that it was built. I think like I am their target audience, because I'll tell you right now, when I booted this up, because I wanted to put playtime in it before we discussed today's podcast, because I wanted to have something to talk about, because I knew it was going to be a heated discussion. I was not going to stream this game at all. I was like, this is not a game I'm going to, because I know that I'm not going to finish it, or I'm not going to be engaged with it. I booted it up, started playing. I immediately am like, dude, as soon as I'm fucking done with Silent Hill 2, I'm in, this is it. I'm streaming this game. I'm having a blast. I'm going to get so much. I'm having more fun, at least right now. And I'm not even that far enough in, but at least with the combat and stuff, than I actually did with Baldur's Gate. And I'm enjoying.
I don't think they're comparable.
No, I'm just talking about me. I'm not saying
I have a funny thing to say
like,
too.
You also didn't get out of the fucking
You're
intro.
Right. I'm very, very, very early on. I am just saying that, like, from a combat.
I don't think it's worth comparing the two.
I'm not comparing. I'm just talking about my experience. I'm just talking about my like enjoyment level and saying, hey, like, this is fun and I'm having a great time. And
this might be foreshadowing, but this is maybe the perfect game for Sin too.
Maybe,
because
right?
Because
the story sucks.
Good and the story sucks. He doesn't care about story, man.
But I'm actually bought into the story so far.
It very well might be.
This might be Sin's fucking perfect game.
I'm I think the game was built for someone that's never stepped foot into the Dragon Age world.
But so I have to disagree entirely with you, considering the fact that Dragon Age in and of itself, like, I get where you're coming from with that. Like, the target audience was not necessarily going to be the diehard Dragon Age fans, but at the same time, you made a Dragon Age
so interlaced
game
that you can't.
You made a Dragon Age game and integrated Dragon Age lore into the game. You are making a game for Dragon Age fans. Right. But like, I don't agree with that at all.
Should have been the target audience, but maybe they just missed it. And
I'm
that's
just saying that
there's no maybe about it.
I'm just saying that I think that they're just basically going.
Now you can say they were trying to target for an audience that had not necessarily played the original Dragon Age games.
Sure,
but at that even still, you need to pander to the fucking people that
I'm not saying it's the right
major upheaval
decision.
today.
I'm just saying that I'm just saying that that's
like saying the current Star Wars fucking trilogies weren't actually made for the Star Wars fucking original Star Wars fans. Like that's what made Star Wars the original trilogy. Like that's what made them what they are today. So
I'm not saying it was the right necessarily the right decision. I'm just saying that the audience that they shot toward was not the Dragon Age, hardcore fans or fans of the series. I think they were just like, we're making a new Dragon Age. We want to grab a new audience. This is how we're going to do it. And the reason that comment I've said this and why I'm talking about it now is because when you're talking about going back to the archetypes of the enemies and the lore and all this other kind of stuff, you have to if you're going to compare it to like, okay, cool. We're going to take enemy type to enemy type. We're going to take dialogue to dialogue. We're going to take to go and say, well, the other games got a pass because their dialogue was great, so their enemy lore can be shit.
I never said that they got a pass.
I just said that they had that to fall back on, and I
said that they had a very good fucking story and character arc, character development, and fucking dialogue to fall back on.
The argument was the fact of how many. What's the variety of characters to this variety? So if there was only three or four variety,
I never said that the other ones didn't have that same issue. I just said that they had something else to fall back on. You can't just have combat as a fallback on, like in a game in today's day and age in 2024. And I don't agree with what's being said that no game will ever live up to Baldur's Gate depth and attention. That's not true. If you put the work into it, yes, games can live up to Baldur's Gate depth and attention spans, right? Like you can make another Baldur's Gate if you put the effort into it. Well, they just didn't do that.
You've got Larian Studios has done it with Divinity Original Sin. They've done it multiple times. They're using the same format. So, okay, let's move past, I guess, this point, because I do want to, like I said, I want to talk about the other things. So, Bill, what else did you? I mean, was there more that you liked, not liked? I mean, how
So I'm lost on my train of thought for where I was before the whole tangent happened.
These guys are freaky as fuck.
Yeah, they're like something out of Doom. So combat, I'm thrilled with personally, from actually playing the game and the experience that I'm having. I'm very much surprised because I was expecting what Hogwarts Legacy kind of had, and I'm not getting that. I'm getting something a lot more in depth. Moving forward from there. Enemy variety, yes, it is. As far as I'm in right now, it's lacking. It's what I kind of expected going into it. I was hoping that they would improve upon it. It does not seem like they have. Yeah. So that is disappointing. Story wise, as far as like the main story, the concept, the motivations pushing us forward, I don't have too many issues with the story base itself. Like the overall motivation, I am enjoying. It's got me interested in it, despite the dialogue and the characters trying to make that not happen. Because I do think that while the story is at bare minimum passable, at maximum it's pretty decent, I don't think the dialogue and the characterizations are doing it any justice, and it's probably putting more people off than it's bringing in. Because
dialogue and characters in general, characters feel very superficial. Every character in this game so far that I've seen, even ones that they've brought from the previous franchise, right, feel very, very superficial and dumbed down to an extent that it's like it was written by somebody for a 4-year-old. Right? See, it feels like a lot of times the dialogue is meant to explain to you what's going on rather than like showing you what's going on, right?
Yeah, and I think exactly what I was gonna say. They're telling and not showing.
I think that's one thing that Co brought up was like it's a way of doing things that it's not
how people talk.
Normal games when it comes down to like storylines, right? You're not explained things. Like you're not explained that the apple is red. You're shown that the apple is red. In this game, you were explained that the apple is red and round, and it's got a stem, and it's on a tree,
Right.
and that tree's in a forest.
They treat the character and this is just a limited amount.
It's like you're teaching like AI or something.
Well, it's almost like
it's
they
weird.
are insulting the player's intelligence by just being like, "Hey, we're gonna, we're gonna describe to you." Even in the very beginning, it's like, "Hey, how do we stop this from happening? Oh, we got to go over here and do that. But you need to push on this thing, and you need to hit this. Oh, it's not falling. Well, clearly it's not falling. No shit." And then it's
like more than just holding your hand, like being on rails. Like that's
not
literally just
not even that. The game has a bad habit of every NPC you come across has to recap the story up to that point.
Yes.
Like there's so many characters that have brought up the central conflict of the story. I'm not going to bring up what it is for spoiler reasons.
Me crazy.
But every single new companion that I've come across has brought up what the central conflict of the plot is, and then they bring up where they stand into it. So they're telling and not showing. It's poor way to tell a story, and I don't blame people that it takes them out of the story altogether, even if I feel like the story on a base level is at least passable.
Well, the thing you got to remember is that they have the story itself is Dragon Age. They've had 4 games of backstory that they can pull from.
And I do want to disagree. I do think that the callback characters that they brought in from Inquisition from Origin, I feel like they are the only characters that are particularly well done in this game. I do think every new character that they brought in that I've interacted with up to this point is definitely a step down from prior characterizations.
So I'm the only thing that I am stating in that, right, and the only thing that I can base that off of is my time in Origins with people like Morgana, Alistair, the Bull, everything like that, right? You look at those characters and the interactions. Yes.
Yeah, right.
You look at those characters and the interactions that you had with them in Origins, Inquisitor, all those other games. And then you look at the interactions that you had with what's the fucking dwarf's name? I always forget his name. Varric, yes. You look at the interactions that you've had with Varric. They're short. They're very quick. It's like witty one-liners.
I think it's well, no, I think it's fine that they're quick. I think if they're wanting to create a new cast, which every Dragon Age game has had a heavy emphasis on new cast.
It has, but it's also harking back to the old characters on a big level.
but still, like from Origin to Inquisition, Morrigan didn't have as big of a part in Inquisition as she did in Origin, obviously, because she was a main character in Origin. She did have a part, but
it wasn't witty one-liners.
I think that's being a little bit disingenuous. I don't think that the characters that they've brought in are just one-liners as far as like the old callback characters. I feel like from what I've experienced directly, they are the highlight of the characterization, and it's disappointing in that. But I do think they're handled with care just because they already have an established fan base.
I mean, I know that I know that in the very beginning sequences, there is a history between two certain characters, right? That are very quickly made understood, and it made me want to be like, okay, cool. I'm missing some kind of backstory here. There's something here. Yeah. There's some relationship to these two characters. And it definitely made me be like, cool, I either want to go back and watch a video that recaps the history of what I'm missing, or B, go back and play those games, because I don't know anything about these two characters, but
I would never make it through those games.
I mean, but either way, it's
it
fine.
makes you want that, as a player.
And I think that because I think it's so important to understand that the audience that they're hitting, that is an audience that's someone to go, cool, I'm the audience. I'm new to the game or new to this franchise. I don't know anything about it. These characters are drawing me in right off the rip. I want to go back and fucking learn about them, whether I go play the game or whether I go and hear something about it, but it's dragging me into the lore. Again, I don't know, 9 hours in, Bill, if the lore just becomes dog shit and nobody gives, and it's basically the story isn't, the best way I can explain
lore's not thrown out the window. It's just, again, it's told, not shown. and that's not the way Dragon Age has done its
it's not
storytelling in the past.
expanded upon very well in the past.
Expanded
upon very well at
So
all. Like,
is a good
I don't know,
comparison
in
to
my
this
opinion,
then
at least.
being like we're looking at how like Marvel and DC in the sense that like, and for anybody that is a nerd and understands it or whatever else, like DC is very much of that, right? Like DC, in my opinion, treats their fan base when it comes to the movies like they're idiots, right? Where Marvel is just kind of like, hey, like we know what hits, we're gonna old Marvel. Let's say like
Well, it wasn't
phase
like
early
that
multiverses.
originally. Yeah, this game definitely 100%. I feel like is the DC.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is this the
of
DC kind of
Dark
version
Age.
of
Yeah.
that? Okay.
or of yeah.
Okay.
I think
Of
Sin
the
does
world.
make a good point
Of
though with
Dragon Age.
like new characters, or not new characters, new players coming into this game. I definitely wouldn't want like the old like canon characters to throw back so much so that I'm just totally out of the loop. One-liners or not, if it is that kind of short convo with them. But I still wouldn't want to be like totally confused being a new player to this game. I would want some kind of like curiosity, but they are going for that new cast, so I want to be more involved with that cast rather than the old cast.
I mean, unfortunately, the new cast doesn't have
wouldn't,
anything worth offering.
As a game standpoint, they definitely
and that's the way
you're
Dragon
better.
Age. And that's the way Dragon Age has always done its characterizations. They've always had the callback characters. They've never been as big as they were from the game that they were from.
Yeah.
But
you're better off going to the old characters and hoping that you understand. Like,
unfortunately so. But you know what that's just as a new player, I can kind of see where I would at least want that.
Just really quickly to touch base on something that's being said as well. One of the bigger issues that people have had, and I don't know if you've seen this or not yet, Bill. I've seen. I
agree 100% with what's going on in chat right now. Yeah, it's the Fallout
very
4
little choice
decision
is huge, dude.
Yep, it's like Fallout 3 to Fallout 4 dialogue option choices. Like, yes, there are options, but there's not really options. There are options that will still impact like character relationships and stuff, like there always have been. But like what we're seeing in chat, there's no way to be outright a bad person.
So
in
you're
this
not.
game.
It's not like
that's what I'm trying to say.
In the other,
that's
good.
That's what I'm trying to say is while there are choices for the large. They're largely inconsequential in a lot of cases from what I've seen. They, especially when it comes down to a lot of the choices that you make when it comes down to companions, I don't feel like they impact the story all that much. I don't know if you've noticed that or not.
So there's what you're saying is there's a thin veil that they guard pretty heavily on the choices that you make.
So yeah, there's the approval and disapproval system. It basically it's more for the dating sim portion of the game because all Dragon Age games are dating sims at the end of the day. And that's, at least from what I'm seeing so far, that's really the only effect that the approval and disapproval system has is for if you're willing to court a character. And I think that is intentional because they didn't have a way of porting in save decisions from Inquisition into this game, which is something that they have done in other BioWare titles.
I think that's bullshit. I think that they could have if they wanted to, but
I think they could have 100%, but they wanted to streamline it.
I would say that is, I think,
which I'm sorry, which pissed me off because I'm like the amount of choices that you make in all of those original games, Inquisitor alone, like them bringing, I can't say that. I'm not going to spoil anything, but like them bringing back characters from the old one, them bringing back characters from the old one and then not offering you the choice. Like they offered you a very small choice as to what you wanted to do when customizing this specific character, but like it's so minute and so inconsequential to the actual game when it comes down to like your previous decisions. I would have almost rather they just didn't put it in the fucking game. Like
that's what I was going to say. It doesn't. It seems very Fable esque. Like I don't know if you guys remember, the Fable morality system that was there versus something where like they're known for KOTOR, right? They're known for the games that are like, hey, like what these decisions that you make are going to have very heavy consequences on the outline, the story, the the endings, everything, right? And I do think that and I know that we said we can't necessarily compare it, but you can say in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world right, and universe,
hell, even in a post Witcher 3 world.
Yeah, you do have to be very mindful of like that. Like if you are gonna have a Paragon system, then it needs to be done. It needs to be done well. If you're not gonna have, if you're just wanting to tell a very specific story, then fuck the system, right? And just understand that that's not what you're doing. Like you're just gonna go a completely different route. It's very more of a controlled storyline. So yeah. Okay. I mean, I was wondering about that because I am enjoying the choices that I am making, but I'm also like, is this going to have a greater effect on my entire story?
It's more flavor than it is actual impact.
Okay.
It has very little impact on the story at all, which is a huge step back from the original Dragon Age games, where
like I said,
pretty much every decision made would impact the overall standing of the story for the most part.
The easiest comparison is like older Fallout games to how they did the dialogue systems in Fallout 4. Like your choices in Fallout 4 didn't mean anything. Okay. And the choices in this will only like improve your recording with specific.
Is there different endings in this game? Do we know?
I do not know.
I don't believe so. No,
I doubt there would be.
Pretty much.
But I haven't gotten that far in. Obviously, it's a 50 to 60 hour game, so I haven't gotten that far into it.
So starting to wrap this up so that we can get to the news section. I want to go. There's more to go over. I'm not done. We're not done.
Yeah, I was about to say I've still got a lot that I want to talk about that I like the stuff that I do like.
This
Let me. I literally am transitioning to you, Enigma. Let me fucking transition, bro.
Well, I'd like Bill to be able to if he wants to wrap up because I have kind of pushed in on his conversation. Sorry, Bill.
No, it's all good. I will get my firsthand experience in at some point. As far honestly, I'm pretty well done with it.
The conversation,
like my take on it,
continue to go on. So, Enigma, what? Obviously, you as someone that has played the game, have played the series, and
haven't played the game.
He hasn't played this game.
I know. Haven't played the series, not played the game. Let me. I was trying to correct myself. Played the series, not played the game.
Full transparency.
Right.
Yeah, full transparency. I have not played the game. I don't intend on buying it.
And aside from
unless
the things
it goes deeply on sale
that we have already hit on, what are the what is your take on this? Like, why are you making?
I mean, I've said a lot of bad things. I think that my cons for the game very heavily outweigh my pros. I didn't like the cartoonish character style. wasn't a big fan of that. That's just me though. Didn't like the disappointing banter between characters coming from the original games. Where you had like banter between Morrigan and Alistair and all those other iconic characters, right? Like I feel like the banter in this game is just subpar to a massive extent. Poor writing quality, we've already went over that, right? Subpar characters. In my opinion, a very simplistic combat system, but again, like you guys said, that could have just been the people that I've watched. I'm willing to give that up. And the limited enemy variety is one of those things where it's like, yeah, that's just a Dragon Age staple. I agree with that. I will agree with that. The other thing that I didn't like, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Bill, I didn't feel like the puzzles that were in the game are all that they feel very repetitive. It feels like every puzzle that you go to, for the most part, you have like 3 different puzzle styles, and that's it.
Yeah, but I didn't see it as much different from prior Dragon Age games. Like Inquisition, these aren't puzzle games at the end of the day, but they do have the God of War, Ragnarok style of puzzle design where the companions will just mouth off and give you a big hint to a puzzle.
Give you the fucking basically give you the fucking answer to the puzzle.
Well, that checks out to their dialogue and everything too.
And then restrictive decision making was just that was my last con pretty much. The pros that I did have, and I'm kind of back and forth on these, and you can agree with me or disagree with me. At least it wasn't a live service game. Originally, when the game first released, this was supposed to be a live service game, like an online live service model. So at least they went back on that. I'm really happy to see that.
I didn't know about that, but if the prior version of the game is to be believed, it was supposed to be like a medieval Payday almost.
Yeah. I do feel like some of the gameplay mechanics in the game, you can tell it was supposed to be almost a live service game in a few aspects of them, but I'm glad that they didn't go down that route. I do believe that the graphics look extremely good. The world itself is gorgeous. That's very apparent. I mean, I'm not going to go up against that. Like the people have been saying it all night long. Saying it looks
right?
fucking gorgeous.
Bill?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And it looks great. It looks great on the PlayStation. It looks great on PC. High graphics on PC, like the vistas and everything like that, look fucking stunning. I was very impressed.
I mean, I've heard some other sides to that the PC version has got a lot of issues with like crashing and things like that. You know, but I mean that's par for the course. Par for the course.
Par
for the course. Par for the course on terrible optimization for PC games these days. So I think this is going to be one that you and I have a little bit of contention on, Bill. I agree with you when we were talking about it in the podcast discussion that the character creator was really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will agree with you that yes, the character creator is impressive. It does very well at being able to create okay looking character. Again, I don't like the art style, so like that's my biggest issue with this entire thing is like I don't like the character art style. But I can look at it and be like, yeah, I mean it's an impressive amount of customization when it comes down to it. But at the same time, I'm looking at it like Monster Hunter Wilds character creation, in my opinion, was just like pretty much as on par, if not more on par. I can't really give the game. I can't really give the game. I said the
same thing whenever I logged into Wilds that the character creator was just as good as Dragon Ages, because I'm very impressed with Dragon Ages. I'm very impressed with Wilds.
Okay, that's my big thing. I can't really give the game like a stunning review based off of character creation.
Where would you put the character? Because I've seen this come up multiple times with character customization and whatever else. And I mean, I played around with it and I was like, okay, like yeah, you can make a character and you can fuck with it. And I mean,
if you dig into it,
I did.
If you dig into it, you can make an extremely good looking character. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, I turned myself into a Greek fucking god. Like, trust me, like, you know, my wife came in and goes, "If you looked like that, bro, no questions asked." I'm like, yeah, okay, go away. Question is, what is the gold standard? So, like, what's up here? What would we put up here? Is it BDO? Is it the fucking Throne and Liberty? Like, what is it? Is it you know,
not
Dark Souls? Whatever. I don't know.
It's Mecha Break.
Okay, Mecha Break. There you go. Dude, for me, probably Black Desert. I think Black Desert.
I was gonna say BDO had a really good one.
Yeah, Black Desert takes the cake for like the most impressive one that I can think of in the past like decade. Yeah. I could be wrong on that. I've not, like, nothing comes to mind personally. What do you think, Bill?
From my personal experience, the only character creator I've really like been impressed with was the Demon Souls remakes character creator. Other than that, the character creator experience I've had is either very minimal or very rough to actually get something good. I didn't like Elden Ring's character creator that much. A lot of those character creators I feel like are more monster factories than anything.
Oddly enough, in recency, Once Human had a pretty decent character created for me.
See, I agree with what chat's saying is
Dragon Age 2 did a really good job with it. Or Dragon's Dogma 2, yes.
Yeah.
Did a really good job with it too. Yeah. Okay. They was actually impressive. And then just the biggest one that I can say is like the big baddie at the end. I'm really glad. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm really glad that they did his story arc and his character arc from the other games. Like they did a decent job with making him the big baddie, because they kind of skirted around it in Origins, and then Inquisitor, they kind of skirted around it as well. And it was one of those situations where I'm like, dude, if you're gonna make him a fucking big baddie, just make him a fucking big baddie. Let's go, please. Like, it was quit fucking around. Let's get him in there. He obviously does a really good job at doing that. His character is tailor made for it. Like, let's just do it. So I'm glad that they actually did it in this one. So
cool.
I do want to. Okay, I don't want to cut you off. Do you have anything else? Because I have a question, and then I want.
That was the last of them that I had. Yeah, those were my big points on that one for the stuff that I liked. I actually liked was just.
So I want to address one of the glaring things that is coming up anytime that you mention this game, right? Which is obviously we skirted around it. We talked a little bit about it, which is obviously dialogue, decisions, story. Is there a narrative that this game is pushing or bringing up and kind of forcing you down a road where it doesn't feel natural, and it kind of feels like, hey, this is being shoved in a way where like I'm being forced to go down this path where I don't maybe not necessarily want my character to go down that path or whatever else. Or is it pretty like, oh, like, hey, like this is an option dialogue choice that you can go down this, political narrative, whatever narrative you want to call it. Is there something there? Because I've seen this come up multiple times across multiple different places, right? And I'm only at the very beginning of it. Like, and I'm wanting to know, like, is this, Bill, have you experienced anything that has made you feel like, hey, no matter what I'm doing, I'm being forced down a route, like, and I'm being...
So there is an agenda with this game. Whether you agree with the agenda or not, that's
Right.
on you. But there is an agenda with this game. Is it forced? No, for the most part. There is a quest line that does...
Choices aren't.
Nothing's forced. You don't have to
Yeah.
interact with any of this stuff outside of a particular companion's quest line that does like dip into it, but it's nothing with your character that is forced upon your character one way or the other. You can choose to interact with it or not outside of one companion's quest line.
Is that a MSQ or main story quest line, or is it like
No,
a side thing?
It's a companion quest line.
Is that, or I guess our companion quest lines, are they like, do you have the choice to do them or not?
Yeah, if you choose not to like interact with the character or not have like it, most of the companion quest lines are based on you bringing them on adventures with you and building up relationship, building up the approval disapproval thing that will unlock character quest lines and expand their story out. If you don't put the time or effort into specific characters, you won't get those quest lines. So
gotcha.
Okay.
Right. I do feel like it is, there is, like Bill said, there is definitely a narrative. While it's not forced on you to make decisions, the narrative is definitely there, and it's a
kind of...
I'm trying to skirt past it because I have my own opinions on it. I don't like
depending on your take on
it.
It could be an attractor or a detractor.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. I have a very, very small bullshit meter when it comes to some of this kind of stuff, and I don't like it when it's forced on you like that, when it's just like in your face constantly, hey, this, right?
Is it more like incentivized
to be fair, it's not constantly in your face from what I've experienced so far and from what I've watched of the wife playing it. It's outside of a single companion. That is the most forced it is. Other than that, it's just menu options that you can completely ignore, not even interact with if you don't want to, or you can deep dive completely into it. And there are some choices that if you make them, it can turn the entire gameplay experience into that style. It's an RPG choice. And whether you want to interact with it or not, that's the role playing aspect of it.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like it's good that the choices are there for people, and I'm glad. I originally like it. That was the narrative that was being driven for a long time. Is like the choice isn't there to not make those decisions. But it does seem like there's less of it from what I've seen. It's definitely the later on the narrative is there. It's not just in the companion quest. There is certain aspects of it in the later bit of the game that are in the actual like main storyline and everything like that. So it's not just companion quests, but it's definitely not forced on you. The biggest thing that I can say is like, if you played Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm not making a comparison, even though I believe that these two games could easily be made a comparison of. They're both RPGs. They're both like, the only thing that's different between them is the combat system. If you played Baldur's Gate 3 and you were fine with Baldur's Gate 3, you're being a hypocrite.
So
because Baldur's Gate 3 had the same
honestly, I would take it a step forward and say if you've played prior Dragon Age games,
true, yeah,
and you've been okay with them,
Dragon Age titles,
you're a hypocrite. Yeah.
Yep.
So
it's one of those situations of like, just look into it. If it's not something that's for you, then it's not for you. Make your decisions off that. Don't force other people to not, don't be angry or disgruntled about people playing the game just because it has stuff in it that you don't like.
What I kind of want to end on, and then we'll move, is that this is what, look, we've been doing this episode show for 42 episodes, right? Like this is a 142nd episode. And I've been around this group of guys and people for this entire time. And why I believe so much in what we do and why I can say that this podcast is great is because we have 4 different opinions on something, right? And five. Sorry, Tony's not here, but he's not here for this one particular conversation. But if you go right now, there are 2 very distinct review camps, and it's really sad to say that, like, hey, like these review camps are pushing people, like you said, Enigma, and like Bill, like you said, like it's pushing people in opposite polar directions, and I don't think that it's fair to do that. And so you come here to get a very true and honest, and it just, as you guys were talking about, it made me sit back and go, wow, this is why I love what we do, because, you know, again, like we can appreciate and say, hey, like there's a narrative there. If you want to engage with it, engage with it. If you don't or whatever, but don't judge a game solely based on that. And there are 2 different camps that are judging.
Well, and really quick, not just the game. Don't just judge the game, and don't judge the people that are playing it. Like if somebody wants to play the fucking game, let them play the fucking game. Regardless, like I don't agree that the game is good. Bill agrees that it's great. I'm not sitting here telling him why.
Great's not a word I would use.
Bill's literally said game of the year. That's the words that came out of Bill's mouth.
Oh my gosh.
I'm having fun with it.
The point is, I do not like the game. Bill does. He's having fun with it in certain aspects.
Game,
right?
let player play game. We enjoy it.
I'm not sitting here going, Bill, you shouldn't be playing this game because of XYZ. I'm going, Bill, these are the reasons why I don't like the game.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're having fun with the game. Play it. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. If you're enjoying it, fucking more power to you, man. I'm happy for it.
And that's why really you should come to the Pre-Patch podcast to get your information on whether you should play a game or not play a game. But if you don't choose to come here for whatever reason, you know, just make sure that you do your homework, you know, and research, not only on fucking video games, but on everything.
And don't pay attention. And we brought it up in the podcast chat on multiple occasions. Don't pay attention to the rage baiting, because I fell into the rage bait shit and then had to like look
a lot of people. If you don't, it's really sad. Like the you know, we're seeing it very much in like the gaming space, but you know, this is a great segment into the news stuff. Is like the news articles that are out there, the review websites, content creators, influencers, whatever you want to call them, like they know what gets clicked,
bullshit.
They know how to get clicks, bro.
Right. And like that's what they're doing. And it's understood. Like if you look up Dragon Age right now, real quick, if you look up Dragon Age right now on YouTube, I'm telling you, it is vivid, the 2 camps that are there, right? And it's just, you can look at the titles, and if you lean one way on something, it's going to go that way. And if you lean another way on something, it's going to go the other way. And it is and it's just like, and that's all it stays on. And it doesn't go into the things that we talked about, what makes the game good or bad.
And last thing I'm going to say on it, please stop going to IGN for your fucking reviews.
Well, that's really because in the news article, we're talking about IGN. No, I'm just kidding.
Please stop going to these even PC Gamer, dude. Like, please stop going to these guys and
I think they gave this game a 9 or something. Because crazy, bro.
like they're giving
not even
these
just
games
numbers, but like it's just
they're giving these games like the highest review marks possible. And I'm not even just talking about IGN, but like IGN is the people that gave Golem a better review than Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
Yeah.
Like this like,
I mean, that was a better
that's
game.
Terrible. That's better. Shut the fuck up. No. I will 100% argue with you on that one. But
into the news section of the show, coming to it from PC Gamer, saying, you know, we do get our news from multiple different sites, but EA basically says that Dragon Age Veilguard was a return back to what made BioWare great. You know, we kind of
disagree.
Have talked about it on already through talking about this. So, Bill, your stance, do you think it's what made BioWare great, or do you think it's a more watered down version of BioWare or something different?
I think from a world built, from a mechanical and world aspect, yes. From a dialogue and world building aspect, no.
Okay. I mean,
it's all tell and no show. Like the world looks great. The world is fun to interact with. The world is not translated to you in a way that is one, intuitive, two, takes your intelligence into consideration, and three, in a way that is fun. The way it is presented to you outside of the combat and the level design is not the most fun.
And couldn't you say,
which
like,
is
directly,
something
like,
that BioWare used to be very good at?
Like the world and character development and all of that goes into it was what made BioWare great, and like everything
they've always been character
this
central.
Game is maybe good, but it's not what BioWare was.
That's what I was gonna point out, is like, if we're going by the strictest definition of what BioWare was always, BioWare at the top of their game was always a studio that put forward complex narratives and unforgettable characters before gameplay.
That is true. That is true. And this is
no, they are not. They are not a return to what made BioWare great. They're actually a step back from what made BioWare great, because they did not have a complex narrative and unforgettable characters.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick.
It's more of a pivot,
because
which is going to upset old BioWare fans.
There you go, Bill. What you get out of my? You want to get out of my head for a little bit? That's not a fucking show. You just want to be me. I'm
sorry, man.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here and say that I look, KOTOR, and I'm gonna piss off a lot of BioWare fans. KOTOR to me was like BioWare at its peak. Mass Effect 1, maybe 2, BioWare. After that, everything else is not. I've never played. Of course, I never played Dragon Age, but
never played Dragon Age.
But knowing that I had put a lot of time into Mass Effect, I'd put a lot of time into KOTOR. Loved both of those.
Mass Effect and KOTOR are two completely different games.
I know that. I understand. But what I'm saying is, I looked at Dragon Age and go, I don't care to want to play that, right? And then I saw, and so I see this. And again, I don't think I think this comment is wrong by saying it's what made BioWare great. I think think, like Bill said,
it is 100%.
This is a pivot, right? This is BioWare saying, hey, story and things like that, we don't believe it's going to sell. We don't believe that that's going to be the what's going to make a shit ton of money is the story, the things that you talked about, Enigma, and you're disagreeing. I can hear it in the I'm looking at the camera, so I can't see your face, but I'm assuming by the size.
It's just like, if you're saying that's what they thought, that's a wild.
I'm looking at the player numbers on just Steam alone. Obviously, that is a bad take.
I'm saying that. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm just saying that
I'm not saying that you are.
Is I think them going, hey, we don't believe that narrative and storyline alone is what can sell it. We need to make a fucking. This game feels Fable. Like, this game feels very reminiscent of a Fable game, and that's the direction that I think they took. And obviously, it's wrong. Apparently, I don't know.
It's not necessarily wrong. I think where they made leaps in the combat system, I don't think them bringing story expectations down was ever the intention. Maybe it was in like the choice aspect and stuff. I think they made as much of an effort to create the same type of world building that the prior BioWare games have had. I think they just failed on it. I don't think it was ever a conscious decision like, hey, we're going to take a step back from story.
One thing you got to remember as well, looking into that, is like, this is a completely separate, like, new development team as well. Like, all the old BioWare, pretty much all of the old BioWare that did Dragon Age 1, 2, Origins, Inquisitor, all the original Dragon Age games are gone. They're, like, for the most part, they're gone. This is a completely different company. This is a completely different development team. And granted, you could look at it as like, they're trying to pivot, they're trying to make their own name in the industry at this point. But why? And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's one of those things where it's like, why drag an existing IP, an existing IP's name that has made BioWare what it is today through the mud for a new company? That's just my thing. I'm like, if you wanted to make this, if you wanted to do that much of a pivot, make your own fucking game. Make a completely new IP. Don't bring like I would have, and I'm to the point now where I'm just like, I would have rather not had another Dragon Age game than had this Dragon Age game personally.
I'm enjoying the game, but
that's fine. Again,
Yeah.
you can enjoy it, but arguably, what made Dragon Age is not in this Dragon Age game. Sorry.
I think, yeah, I think we tackled like what this topic was about. This article here. I'm pretty like they're just wording and everything is just off. The return to what made BioWare great. That's just
no. I think their wording is completely on. They truly believe that they are returning to what they made.
Well, I know they believe it, but that's it's just not. That's not the case.
So
all right, we'll round the horn. We got Enigma's final word on it. We got Scruffy's final word on it. Bill, final words on Dragon Age Veilguard and this comment.
Do your research on the game. If you're an old school BioWare fan, like myself, the wife, and Enigma are, make sure that this is something that you're going to be able to tolerate for the long term before you put your money down on it.
Awesome.
Because obviously some of us are, some of us aren't. Yeah, that's about it. It is EA's most successful single player game to date, if that's anything to go off of, but it's also, they haven't been throwing out the best content in the single player region recently. So, with the exception of the Star Wars games, and this has done better than the Star Wars games, but it's also Mass Effect, or not Mass Effect, but Dragon Age. It's something that's been established and should have done better than what it is currently doing.
How do you guys feel about throwing 60 pounds, but it's 90 US dollars, I believe. Yeah, yes, it is 60 pounds, but 90 US dollars on a mount that essentially you could get in game for 5 million gold, I believe is what, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
the Bronto.
Yeah, the Brontosaurus.
So how many have you bought?
4.
I was about to say. I mean, how do we feel about it? We feel it's bad. How does the blizzard whale feel about it? Is the real question that we need
to be 100% honest. I actually, the price is out fucking outrageous.
It's crazy.
The effect of just adding this mount to the store purchasable. I know I'm gonna piss off a lot of people that love collecting mounts. Because of what this mount specifically does, either A, lock it behind achievement, that's not just me having to fucking sit there and gold farm, or pay for fucking gold to get it, make it more serious.
Is this the Bronto that has like all the shops on it and shit?
Yeah. So essentially what you have is you have a vendor and you have an auction house that is on your back.
Do you have is this one that has the transmog as well?
No.
You can, but it requires you can, but you can, but it requires you, like you said, to sit there and farm. Old content for gold.
To go off that, can you get that with any other purchasable mount with real money?
You cannot. You can get there is a purchasable mount that you get the transmog and you get the a vendor, but you do not get the auction vendor. So this one comes with an auction house, which is pretty big deal. Like.
That's huge. That's huge. That's huge for farmers. That's huge for gold farmers because they can literally just go in and out of fucking dungeons.
Like they will make. I guarantee that they will make a fuck ton of money off this.
They'll make tons.
Again, I understand. Like I love rarity in mounts and things like that. And if this was not like the auction house and the fucking vendor, like make it. Or like either A, make it only obtainable by getting it through an achievement, or make it a very rare mount drop, or put it on the fucking cash shop. But I don't believe putting it at $90 fucking is the right move. Like that is expensive. Crazy. That is outrageous.
Do you get anything else with the $90, or is it literally just the mount?
I don't know. I have to go
amount.
I think it's just
because if it's just the mount, that's fucked. Blizzard is fucked, dude. Why?
I think they just know how sought after that mechanic is.
Well, that mount, yes, is very.
And they know, they know that it'll sell.
It is spawned you get it spammed in fucking
crazy.
World Chat, being like, "Hey, can somebody pull a Bronto mount? Bronto mount. Like It is
Any whales around? Any whales?
So, yeah, but I mean, I'm not spending $90 on it. Like that's just,
that's wild. Yeah,
it's crazy. So, well, I mean, they're getting the $90 from that, and that's all. You would assume that that's going to go into development, right? It's going to go to the developers. It's going to go to QA people. It's going to go to all of those people.
I don't assume that
right. Well, no,
I
mean,
Bobby.
You would hope, but
you would hope and assume, but what if I were to tell you it actually goes to pay for Microsoft CEO's raise?
Nice.
Yeah, Microsoft CEO got a pay rises by 63% to $79 million, despite devastating years for layoffs.
That's more what I assume. That's more in line with what I feel like Blizzard or my CEOs do.
Yeah.
Just to make this clear as well, this is Microsoft.
Yeah,
CEO,
we're going to jump into Microsoft now.
Not Xbox.
No, it's Microsoft. CEO. I know, but again, we're talking about one company. We're talking about like you.
No, I'm not arguing with you on that point. Like it's fucked. Like there's just like with Bobby when it came down to Bobby and Activision laying off a shit ton of people and then him taking a fucking raise that year.
So
any fucking CEO that does this is scummy as shit. You essentially are laying people off to pad your own fucking pockets, and it's fucking bullshit.
Just for clarifications, right? So everybody, or not clarifications, but for understanding, 2024, right? There's been 2 massive layoffs at Microsoft, according to this article that was printed by Eurogamer. 1,900 staff laid off in January. Then followed by 650 Xbox employees that were laid off in September. Microsoft also shut down 3 Bethesda studios in June: Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, and Alpha Dog. And then throughout all of that, it was painting this picture like it wasn't as bad as what it was, and all of this other kind of stuff, and that it wasn't in this harsh environment, while also shutting these studios down, externally kind of being like, hey, like we need to recoup from the $69 billion purchase that we just made of Activision. Yeah, this again just isn't the look that I think Microsoft is going after, but
they're just going down a really, really bad look.
They're becoming the Bond villain.
Bad, dude.
Just a quick update on that Brontosaurus. I was curious about what it actually gave you. The Traders Guild Brontosaurus is now available in World of Warcraft Cash Shop for $90. It's literally just the mount, so that's fucking ridiculous. It can only be used in the War Within and not in classic game modes.
Wow.
Oh.
NPCs that grant access to the auction house and the mailbox systems are included, and the new mount can only be purchased by converting gold to Battle.net balance via WoW tokens.
Wow.
So you have to buy WoW tokens to pay for it. You can't just pay the $90. You have to purchase WoW tokens.
So that is literally to combat gold farmers.
Yeah.
Wow. That's fucking wild. Wild. That's crazy. That is crazy. My mouse just died. Hello? Okay, there we go. All right, well, moving on. I know that Red Dead Redemption was something that they.
Oh, you can pay just the $90. Okay, I'm reading something on here that's basically stating that you have to buy them through in-game. Like,
did you wait?
Auction house.
You in chat bought? I mean, hey man, hey, spend your money how you want to spend it. But damn,
hey, Jake got that big dick money.
Hey man, whale to whale. Let's communicate. Let's talk. Let's chat. Let's. I want to create.
You guys can compare your whale sizes.
Yeah. Hey now.
Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you on that. Sorry.
All good. Let's talk about Red Dead Redemption. So
this pisses me off.
This is Red Dead Redemption is already a big hit on Steam. It is kind of pulling in some record numbers. Enigma, you want to talk about a price tag on what this game costs?
So
dude,
Red Dead
like
Redemption,
$20, right?
Red Dead Redemption. Oh yeah, that would be great if it could. Yeah. No, it's 50. It's almost. I think it's $59.99. Does it not? Or no?
No, $49.99. I thought
$49.99. Yeah.
But still, I mean, make sure. Either way,
Red Dead Redemption $49.99. Yep, $49.99. And granted,
for over a decade-year-old game.
Granted, gonna tell you right off the bat, it does have the Undead Nightmare DLC in it.
Yes.
So,
thank God.
They did offer that. They didn't make you pay for that separately. I'm just saying, $50, $60, $50 for it. It's a good deal for a 14-year-old fucking game.
Yeah.
That has nothing done on it really,
and
other than just
at the time of release, this game was well worth the full price.
It was. Honestly,
plus more with the undead. It was like an extra 30
it's one of those
undead.
things where it's like I would have been prepared to pay $50 for it if they had done some form of like graphic overhaul. Like I was talking to my buddy Shell the other day because we've actually been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 again. I'm like, dude, if they had ported Red Dead Redemption into the Red Dead Redemption 2 graphics, like the engine, I would have paid $70 for it.
Yeah, plus the Undead Nightmare I would have easily.
Plus the Undead Nightmare, I would have paid easy $60-$70.
I'm with you right there.
Because this game was one of the most iconic games.
It still looks like a PlayStation 3 game just on PC now. Yeah.
It's $50 is rough, man. And even with the DLC, $50 is rough, man. I would have paid $30 for this with the DLC. 14-year-old game, 30, 35, somewhere around there.
Is this going out to any of the other is this going out to any other consoles, or is this solely just PC?
It's on PlayStation. It's on PlayStation.
Yeah,
and PC
I think
now.
PlayStation
I don't think it's on
got
Xbox.
support too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is
and when it was ported, when it was brought back to the PlayStation 5, wasn't there a controversy of it being like?
Yeah, but I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this one right here. Like this release of the $50 purchase.
Yeah.
This one specifically is just a PC release right now, right?
Well, it re-released on PlayStation 5 before, and then they ported it. That's
what I'm saying though. Like this specific, I know that they re-released it back a while ago. I'm just saying this current one that they are talking about here is just solely a PC launch in recent days. Doesn't add any new content. Not like it's just the old shit.
Not that I know of. It's just the 14-year-old game
and
with
just
the
an
Undead Nightmare. I don't even think it's an up-res.
I don't even.
Well, I don't know. Just the fucking original game.
We should make sure of that. I'm not sure if it was up-resed or not.
Oh, it did. It can now natively do 4K. Yeah, it can now natively do 4K.
But it's not. It's not a. It's not a. It's fucking 4K, but it's
not graphically overhauled.
Silent Hill 2
remake.
Motherfucker,
it's not a remake
bro.
like that. No, like I said, if they had done that, and remade it in the Red Dead Redemption 2 graphics, no issue. $50, $60, $70. Take my money. Have it.
Yep.
It's $50 on PlayStation Store right now.
Yeah. So for a 14-year-old game, $50. This is a fucking joke.
How is this at 93% Steam reviews? As positive
because it's Red Dead Redemption.
I mean it's a very loved after game.
The game is amazing.
Yeah,
like Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2 are probably two of my favorite games. Like two if they had come out, if Red Dead Redemption 2 had come out today, without a doubt.
Okay,
this was probably comparable and not as high of like a want as like Bloodborne is on PC, but it was up there.
I think it was even higher of a want than Bloodborne in some instances.
I don't know, maybe
people have been asking for Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC since it released.
Maybe Red Dead Redemption 1.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption.
For some.
I mean, I like my fair share of hamburgers from McDonald's, but I don't want a fucking 14-year-old hamburger to cost the same fucking thing.
No, 100%.
We're
all in agreement there.
That's fucking wild. All right. Well, what if it was on the blockchain? Would you guys be interested in, getting a blockchain game? So what we're talking about is Ubisoft quietly released a blockchain-powered game.
In the middle of all the bullshit that they have going on right now, they're like, I want to know whose decision this was, where they were like, "Hey Timmy, you got any good ideas for how we can fuck up our company anymore?" And the dude was like, "Hold my beer, bro. Blockchain game right now. Let's go."
They released a turn-based RPG called Champions Tactics Grimoire Chronicles, right?
Is it a mobile game? No, it's PC.
I don't know.
It's PC.
got fucking
I wouldn't
Champions
doubt it'll
Tactics
be
Grimoire
mobile.
Chronicles, dude. What
Sounds
a most
like
generic.
mobile.
That is. I swear to God, somebody went into an AI and was like, "Hey, generate a name for a fucking game for me, please," and just pop that.
I mean, it looks like a Square Enix title, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'm sure. I'm just saying the title looks like Square Enix may be doing the same thing. I wonder if someone's paying for a $20 version of ChatGPT.
I mean, Square Enix did have an NFT game as well, so
it did indeed. Yeah, it's very strange. If you scroll down, you can see some of the screenshots of it, and it's like you're collecting these like D&D figurines,
and those are your NFTs.
And those are your NFTs and your characters, I guess.
Is the game fun?
I don't know.
Who knows?
It's out yet.
It kind of looks like Raid Shadow Legends.
It does kind of look like Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah. It's a good fucking. It does kind of.
But
okay. I'm gonna.
It's free. It's free to play. You just have to attach your
wallet,
Bitcoin wallet to it.
I'm not attaching shit to Ubisoft's network right now. Not right now. Not with this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grow for next week's show. I'm grabbing a video of this, and I want to. I'm not gonna play it. I'm just gonna go grab. I want to see what this game is because this.
And it's gonna be on Steam too. So
this is
interesting.
I mean, obviously, I think we can wholeheartedly all agree that this is not the right move for Ubisoft to maybe make now.
Yeah.
But
it's also super late.
It is
in comparison to like
considering
the NFT hype and blockchain hype has been gone for over a year now. So
you know what?
Literally everyone is going.
It's just how long it took all these devs to actually come out with like an actual game.
Keep in mind though that they did release their NFT, which is their non-fungible token. It launched with Ubisoft Quartz. Like that was a thing.
Ubisoft's been in bed with the NFT and blockchain market, so it's not surprising that this came out. It's just it's weird that it took so long and that they kind of missed the mark on it when it was hot.
If this would have come out during the time when that was really popping and whatever else, do you think that this would have maybe taken off?
I think it would have got more ridicule, but I think they as a company would have made more profit off of it. I think there's less
backlash?
Crypto bros that are in they would have got more backlash 100% back if they would have done this back in the hype of NFTs and all that. The backlash would have been higher, but the profit margins would have been higher too, because it was a lot more polarizing of a thing. At this point, nobody fucking cares. The people that liked NFTs don't fucking care because there's no money to be made in it anymore. The people that hated NFTs don't care because they virtually disappeared from the mainstream
they missed the chance to hit the FOMO, the fear of missing out on the NFTs. I think.
Go ahead, Scruffy. Because
they were also in a bit of a better standing. They weren't as as much turmoil as they are right now.
Keep in mind that this, going off of the Game Rant article that we're referencing, the article states that when it launched back in 2021, which was during the hype and getting into the the NFT kind of hype, you want to know how much Ubisoft Quartz made?
How much?
$400.
Wait.
Well, they only had one NFT on it as well.
It made $400.
Was that just an NFT thing, like a blockchain thing?
It was. Yeah, it was literally their NFT. Yeah.
And the only NFTs that they had interacted with it was from Breakpoint, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and it was only for people that had so many hours in Breakpoint. They got a NFT with like an NFT of, I think it was like a hat or a helmet or something that had a unique label tag on it.
Yeah,
that was what the NFT was.
That the amount of money that was spent on deving that cost more.
Oh yeah, it 100% was. But they.
Guys, are you reading this part down at the bottom? From a report from IGN, the current highest price figurine is sitting on the game's marketplace for close to $63,000.
That's it. I'm quitting my job and playing fucking Champion Tactics Grimoire Chronicles. That's it. I'm going full NFT mode. What the fuck, man? Okay, it doesn't.
$63,000 for a virtual fucking figurine.
It doesn't surprise me though, man. Like we just talked about people spending $90 on a mount. We're talking about people that go into Counter-Strike and spend fucking thousands of dollars on a knife skin. Like, are you shocked? I've been preaching this from the fucking top of the world. This is what video games have had NFTs from the very fucking get-go. It's just that there's a market that people aren't utilizing or having to go through some black market scheme to do it. I'm just saying,
Like fucking League puts out a fucking skin for Ari that's like
$500,
and I'm like, are you guys fucking fucked in the head?
But,
like, what are you doing?
Ubisoft is probably the riskiest blockchain
yeah, I mean,
that you can invest in
shouldn't
right
have done it
now.
now and whatever. It's but I'm just that doesn't surprise me. $63,000.
That's crazy, man.
All right, let's talk about something that's actually positive. Let's end this show on the news section on something that's positive. Let's talk about copyright and game preservation and things of that nature. So this is coming from PC Gamer. U.S. copyright law forces researchers to explore extra legal methods for game preservation. Basically says historian who are disappointed after being denied a DMCA exemption. Bill, I'm going to turn it right to you because, as someone that, you are the self-appointed.
Bill is our champion.
Yeah.
For
game preservation.
I bought Dragon Age on disc, and it is 100% on the disc, by the way.
Wow.
He stands for that physical shit, man.
What is your take on this?
It's disappointing. It is a massive blow to honestly what y'all have been arguing as well, with the online being the best way to preserve games. This goes directly against being able to preserve an online library of these kinds of things that people can have access to in the future. Like, once these companies go and take it out, this here effectively, unless you own a disc that you can pull the game off of, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no way to legally get access to those games again, which is bullshit because music media has unlimited online libraries that you can pull freely from. Movies, for the most part, they have extremely good preservation on movies and music, so that even stuff from like the fucking 20s and back, you can still get access to. Like, from the golden age when movies first came out, you can still find and get access to. I don't know why games are being treated so differently.
Yeah, I've got a question for you, and that it might answer that question as well. Is like, do you guys believe? Because like we've seen a big push recently for like games as like an art, right? Like games becoming like an art style or like an artwork in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that like these people just don't accept the fact that games are actual art, and that's why they're not preserving them? They're not wanting to preserve it, because that's the biggest thing with like movies and music, is those two genres are seen as an art form.
Right.
And
then where's that draw between the line of that compared to a video game?
Exactly.
I feel like a video game and a movie are not too dissimilar.
Not dissimilar at all. Yeah, they're just
they shouldn't be treated. They shouldn't be treated any differently. And the fact that the U.S. copyright system has made another wall to getting true game preservation, it's disappointing. It's very, very disappointing, very sad, and it reinforces my mindset on, if I can get it on a disc and it's 100% on the disc, that's the route I want to go with my games moving forward.
I think that it has to do with more that's akin to our current legal and justice system and political landscape, is that it's all about money, right? It's all about big dollars being spent, who's swaying the ESA, versus like looking at it from an artistic perspective. Like, I don't think that, I mean, ultimately, I don't think they give a shit. Like, I think they can look at it and go, hey, yes, this is art, but at the end of the day, we don't care. And that we're going to protect the people that are, obviously developing these things and stuff like that. The good note that I was mentioning, before, is that there is still hope, right? Because one of the big things is that DMCA laws and regulations come up every 3 years, right? Like the lifespan of those are 3 years long. So there is still room for things to get overturned and things to be changed.
They do come up every 3 years, but they don't change every 3 years. Most of the time, the copyright laws stay pretty much bog standard.
Yeah, but I don't think that you've had such a like divergent narrative that's being used right now, especially, right? Like when you have things like even Steam coming in and saying, hey, like you need to make sure that this is made more aware. Like obviously GOG has been around for a long time, but you know, you've got the Video Game History Foundation that are making bigger waves, and as AI is becoming more of a thing, like there are more reasons as to why in 3 or 4, 3 years this may change or whatnot when it comes back up. I mean,
it could, but I'm still gonna stand by what I said. It will only change once they recognize gaming as an art form. When they finally like fully recognize it as an art form, just like music, just like arts, just like movie media.
yeah, but
It's not going to
so
change up
I'm
until
play
that
devil's
point.
advocate. You compare it to something like art, but look at art. Art is not acceptable to the public by everybody and anybody. Like you still have to pay money to go see, the Mona Lisa in the Louvre or whatever else. And if they want to take it down, they can take it down. Like it's not, it's not something that is necessarily always.
I saw a picture of Snoop Dogg as the Mona Lisa the other day. I thought that was just as good. So
I mean, yeah,
was it an NFT? Did you buy?
You can get yes, you bought it with Ubisoft course.
Yeah,
So,
man. So
I don't know. That's all I'm saying. I mean, unfortunately,
yeah.
I do think that it doesn't really matter. The dystopian future that we've all kind of talked about is still going to be drastically moving forward. Where Bill will be the only one that has a fucking physical copy of.
We need to put Bill on the front stand, the mic, going against these guys.
He is the one that is going to be upset that he did not get a copy of
he
Concord.
is
I guarantee
you
that will be one of 2024's Bill's regrets.
Bill's like
it already
Bill's
is.
Like Bill's like I actually already have one. I paid like $6,000 for it.
And Bill, you know what? Bill doesn't even care about the price that they're going for. It's not about the scalping price. He just wanted it. Dude.
He just wants it.
He just wants
Unfortunately, so I actually did look into it whenever things were going on, and the whole game. The game wasn't on the disc. It was just a license on the disc.
Yeah,
so.
That's what I thought. Yeah, a lot of them were just
was
licenses. Yeah.
So that's why I didn't end up getting it, but I still regret it. It would have been a good one.
All right. Yeah. Well, that wraps up the news section. We are going to very quickly go through the quick hits section, which is where we talk about topics, or we bring up topics that are basically things that you need to know, we should know, or we felt you should know. We're not going to fully discuss it and go in depth like we would with news articles. There's something that is we think is important. So one, a good thing that I whether you like Gearbox or not, you hate them, love them, I do think this is really heartwarming. Basically, Gearbox is vowing to fly out a terminally ill fan so that they can see Borderlands 4 before they do pass away. I think that's awesome, and a great thing that is going on in the industry. I hope they keep to it. I really hope they don't fucking back out of that. And all of that. Concord developer Firewalk Studios is officially being shut down. They are being shut down, but Sony is advocating and pushing that they are going to be relocated, that they are not going to just turn them out and shut the door and say goodbye.
That's the only good part about that entire thing is that at least
the staff that didn't get fired.
What talented staff were there are going to get really relocated. The downside is the untalented staff are also going to get relocated, and there's a very high chance that you're going to get even less quality from fucking the people that are there. But that's just,
I would rather save the majority than risk it. At least I didn't pull a Microsoft and shut the door and say get the fuck out. Day Before Studio is asking community to design maps for their free and newly launched content game. The new game that they are making, which is called Content, right? Like that's the name of the fucking game.
That's the name one.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Is it?
I'm pretty sure it's.
Is that what it?
I think it is called Content.
It might be. I don't know.
I don't know. It's their new game. Fuck them. Hey, don't do this, please.
Contest.
Steve, please stop. Yeah, don't do anything for them. Again, like we said last week. Please don't do anything for these.
Is it called contest? So I typed
on the article. It's contest.
God damn it. I really hate y'all for fucking what you type in here and not looking at it. Because I'm Ron Burgundy. I'm going to read what's on the prompter. It could say, go fuck yourself, San Diego. And I'd be like, oh, good. Day Before Studio says, go fuck yourself, San Diego. Oh, man. All right. PoE 2 is getting delayed by 2 weeks. I am sad about this. I'm also very sad that this is
What was the reasoning?
I think just optimization.
Development. Wait, what was the release date originally?
It was supposed to be November 16th or something like that, or like the November 15th was the original launch.
15th was the original
soon?
launch date, yeah.
It was supposed to be November, the early access, which you had to pay, which you do have to pay for to get in.
The reasoning that they gave was they weren't confident that they could hit the deadline.
I'm fine with that, dude. I need more time.
Bro, they just want to compete with Marvel Rivals. Fuck them. That's all they want to do. So
I mean, I'm playing that over Marvel Rivals. I'm sorry.
Fuck you. I don't need you on fucking Marvel Rivals anyway. You weren't even that good of a player, bitch.
Wow. I was your healer, bro. I was the reason why you were alive.
I don't need you. Anyway, all right. Well, I think that wraps up all of the news. Let me just make sure. Yes, it does. Guys, episode 142 is in the books. We gave you a little bit of extra. We started a little bit late, but we gave you a little bit of extra. We also know, like, hey, we weren't on YouTube this time. We were only on Twitch. We will get that sorted out. I swear to God, if I have to just nuke all of OBS and fucking restart, I don't know what's going to happen there, but we will get this squared away.
The system.
I don't know what's going on. But in any case, if you are new to the show, we hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you check out all of our content across all the different channels, whether it be YouTube, whether it's Twitch, whether you get us on Twitter, Discord, fucking Instagram, Facebook. I think we have a MySpace account. At least Tom just friended me. I don't know. I just been talking to him. So, but in any case, make sure you also check out all of our content. You can get us again on the same platforms. I am Sinan, S1N3N. You've got Billy the Squid _ between the Billy and the Squid. Then you've also got Agent Scruffy and Enigmatical Gaming. Whenever he throws up a stream. Also, go make sure you check out Hey Tony. He's not here, but we're wishing him a quick and speedy recovery so he can be on next week's show. That's Hey Tony with 5 Ys. I am Sinan. Y'all have a wonderful evening. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Installation.